Keeler in the morning. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Well, good morning. Beautiful start to the day. It's really nice, huh? Going to be another nice day today with partly cloudy skies. 85 degrees or so. Same thing for tomorrow. Maybe a little rain on Thursday.
It's going to be a scorcher.
And okay, the sad news came yesterday. We have been following this. That Chief Brooks was sadly nearing the end for a few weeks, and you just it's one of those stories you don't want to rush to cover.
Yeah, right. For the dignity of him and his family, it was best to just kind of let them be and let it play out. And I remember that the city, and I don't know if, Mayor Palmieri at the time and Chief Brooks, because we all know about that somewhat public dispute. There was
pretty public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite, especially here on these airwaves. Mm-hmm. But it was a moment where I believe Mayor Palmieri may have honored Chief Brooks last year toward the end of his administration. And there was some sort of ceremony, and we had reached out, and I had spoke to Chief Brooks' wife, Marianne, who's just a wonderful woman. And I remember her telling me at the time, he loves talking to you guys, but he just can't do it. He's just so tired and not able to. And,
yeah, it's rough.
So we definitely send our condolences to Marianne and Chief Brooks' entire family. We always loved having him in studio, and we just really appreciate everything he did for the city. It's definitely sad news yesterday.
Well, towards the so everything went down with his with the way it ended, which was really unfortunate. Not on his part, but the way he ended up being removed by the city. That was pretty darn unfortunate. Nonetheless, oftentimes during that we would have him on, and Chief Brooks was a pretty big political player. Mm-hmm. So he was very involved in a lot of local political races, especially after his retirement, and big protecting the fire department and the union, and of course was fighting towards the end to get the city to acknowledge that his cancer was work related. And you know what? He said that it was 9/11 related, but even if it's possible that it wasn't 9/11 related, he spent 43 years fighting fires in Utica.
Yeah.
There's, I think we can all agree that a firefighter's chances of ultimately getting cancer and dying from that is greatly increased. A firefighter.
Yeah, and we just had Chief Scott Ingresol, who is the current fire chief.
Just talking about that.
We were just talking about this ahead of the 150th anniversary of the department. And we will talk with the current fire chief a little bit later on this morning to reflect on his memories of Chief Brooks. But yeah, I mean, even then, he was talking about when you're at a fire normally in Utica and some of the parts that are the older sections. You smell things that are not just wood.
Well, you could be blocks away or miles away, and when you smell that certain smoke from a certain fire, you can just tell it's. You're smelling in toxins of some sort.
Yeah.
Anyway, very sad news. As there's a full story up on our website. The funeral, the wake will be held. I believe it's Sunday 1 till 4, and then Monday at 11 a.m. will be the funeral.
He also
they expect that to be pretty large.
Yes, he also was instrumental in helping to fight off the North Utica paving, or was it the blacktop manufacturing plant that was going to go there? I think he had a huge role.
That was yeah. Well, that wasn't that not even in North Utica? It was more
like
along
North
the line
Genesee
of,
Street.
Yeah, over by Babes and in that area. Actually, it was right on the canal. Actually, if you remember.
Yes.
And that would have been pretty bad. Nonetheless, very active, and of course, we had him in here several times, working with other firefighters around the state who were battling, trying to prove to their municipalities that their illness, their cancer, was a work hazard. It was work related.
Yeah.
So just somebody who took on a lot of causes for others, and very. But what a larger than life human being.
Loved Utica Comets. Loved those games. That's where I would see him frequently.
I always compared him to him. I would tell him, you remind me of, I'll never forget when there was the Academy Awards. I don't know how many years ago it was. You could look it up. But where Jack Palance came down and just jumped went right down to the floor and started at age whatever he was, 110, started doing one-arm push-ups. So I'm like, Chief Brooks was the Jack Palance of Utica. Okay, I want to tell you, I just brought in Davey. I don't know about you, but I had to clean off my shoes from all the pollen out there. That
it's
white,
crazy.
Fluffy stuff.
On the golf course yesterday, it looked like
terrible.
it was snowing.
Yeah, it's awful. Imagine you're breathing that in. My head's been feeling it. You're just all clogged up. The other thing is we are being held hostage on our own property right now. It's terrible. And, oh, yeah, it's bad, Davey. So you remember I said we had the robin's nest, and it had embedded into a fan in a
this
gazebo.
Saga continues.
In a gazebo, it had embedded into a fan, right into the fan.
Oh, boy.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I ran into somebody yesterday that asked me to ask you about the Saga story. I ran into them at Barneville, at Stewart.
I'm going to tell you that it was last Saturday, not this past Saturday, but the previous Saturday, that the robins came out of the nest. They were all gone.
They were flying.
They were flying around. There were 3 of them. And so I got on the ladder, and I had to take the fan down, take the fan apart. And then, then it's all filled with mud and everything else that's used to harden everything into basically to seal the whole nest up. Nonetheless, got it all cleaned up, put it up, done.
Nice.
However,
oh boy.
Now this week, I used everybody's idea. There are mothballs. There are. I'm leaving the fan on. I have a wind chime over there, so whenever the wind blows, it scares the robins away.
You should do like one of those fake owls.
Could do that. Maybe I should do that. So there is that. So I'm not having any problem in the gazebo. However, we're being held hostage, and it's because my wife is like, well, you can't go out this door because the robin's nest is up there.
There's another one?
Because we have 4 new nests in our backyard.
That means the mites are everywhere. Oh, my
4
God.
new nests, 3 robin's nests, and atop the a smaller pine tree, we have a crow's nest. And that crow, by the way, is feeding off we have a little backyard pond. It's feeding off the fish in the pond.
Are you serious?
Honest to God. So the crows are a little more aggressive. They'll kind of, and let me tell you something, too. A robin, both the mother and father robin, I've been reading up on this, they are both present when it comes to feeding the young birds.
Oh, my God.
And also chasing off like chipmunks and squirrels. I never realized robins are so aggressive, but these robins will like chase a chipmunk right out of the yard, just pecking at it, just following that, and you'd think, okay, he's done now. No, he keeps going right into the woods. So, so it's underneath the porch, so you can't go out this door. Over here, you can't go over to this part over here because it's in the fence, built into the fence. And then over here, be careful over here because it's in the tree. 3 of those, and then the crow's nest. I feel like I'm Marlon Perkins, and we're ready to do the Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Wasn't Jim Brock's father a Mutual of Omaha? Were they Mutual of Omaha?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I don't remember what agency.
But that building was wild.
The Jim Brock agency was. Yeah. Anyway, we feel like we're being held hostage. Or I do anyway. My wife's like staying inside, doesn't even care. It's like, don't go out that door. Okay.
I mean,
I'm not going out the door.
You have made your backyard so beautiful. It's almost like
it's not that. I mean,
it is.
It's the birds. The birds.
It's an oasis. So for them,
they like the little nooks and crannies where they can find in a tree or something.
It's like staying at a. It's like staying at a Hilton as opposed to like a.
Okay.
We'll leave the light on for you.
All right. So the town of New Hartford or village of New Hartford would be okay with it, as opposed to a Best Western. Tanya J. Powers is on a little bit, talking about the Biden administration and border officials confirming that some executive actions are coming. Man, how long was he going to wait to do this? This should have been done a long time ago. Also, Hunter Biden, the jury has been selected in that trial. John Zagby is on today on the Trump verdict, what it means for his chances at re-election. Interesting to see. They say that only 1 out of 10 Republicans say the verdict has swayed their vote away from Trump.
Okay.
As we mentioned, we'll have several in this morning to talk about Chief Brooks, including current Utica Fire Chief Scott Ingresol, on the life and legacy of Chief Russ Brooks. Mayor Mike Galimi is in, along with Mike Gentile. Listen. Yesterday, Celeste Friend was on, and we had Ace
Morielli.
So Ace is with the Pride group in Utica.
Oneida County Pride Association.
So she basically, I think she left stuff out yesterday. Like talking about how the city won't allow the flag to be flown, but it's not just the Pride flag. It's all flags that aren't, quote, state flags. And she's definitely has, I think she definitely left some elements out. Would you agree?
After speaking to the individuals I spoke to yesterday, she most certainly left stuff out.
So the mayor will talk about it. Mike Gentile will talk about it, but also they'll talk about Chief Brooks. And so will former Mayor Tim Julian, who's now an Oneida County legislator. And there's a lot going on, including sightings reuse. And, of course, Chief Brooks. So we have a ton to get into here this morning for a Tuesday morning. It feels like it should be Wednesday after the short week last week.
There was also a bear sighting in the village of Whitesboro.
This was right at the edge of Whitestown and Whitesboro.
Yeah, Perimeter Road, Hardcastle.
In a tree. The bear's in it. You don't think to look up, but you never know. You might have walked out in your backyard, not looked up, and had a bear in your tree.
Well, so the bear was in a tree, but I'm working on getting further video from my cousin's fiance. He had on his Snapchat video, which I screen recorded, which of course he would have been notified about. But he saw it walking around a house in front of a garage, just right in the neighborhood.
Well,
little bear cub.
I just think they say the bear is probably about a year old.
Mm-hmm. Which you know what that means.
Mama somewhere.
Not too far behind.
Yeah, they got to be careful with that. That's an interesting story. What else do I have here today? It does seem like we're getting more of these bear sightings here. Do you feel?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
do have close proximity to wildlife, and we're not too far from the Adirondacks. But for it to be down in Whitesboro is a little bit alarming.
I don't sit and watch C-SPAN, but somebody did and posted the video. 6-year-old son of. Do you remember when Giuliani did his speech and his son was doing the facial things?
I actually remember Chris Farley
doing that,
playing the kid
on SNL. Yeah. No. Anyway, New York Times reporting that John Rose, Republican Representative John Rose, is from Tennessee. he was talking about Trump and, pro conversation about Donald Trump. And while it's going on, his son was sitting behind him making face after face after face, like sticking his tongue out, thumbing his nose. And it went on through the entire 5-minute speech. If you get a chance to here's a picture of him right now. Look at this kid. I don't know if you can see it on my computer. But there's the.
That is awesome.
There's the kid doing something.
Well, there was a guy behind
with his eyes and.
There was a guy
tongue.
behind Fauci yesterday that was going viral. He was making all sorts of faces. He was sitting directly behind Fauci at that testimony yesterday.
Okay, what else do I have? This is another big story that I know can happen, but you think it maybe will happen in a third world country. Not here. I think this happened in Nebraska. Lincoln, Nebraska. 74-year-old Constance Glantz had died. She was pronounced dead in a nursing home.
No, I heard about this.
The funeral home employee preparing her body realized that she was breathing. Otherwise, he was about to drain her.
Oh, my God.
She was pronounced dead there. The woman, Constance Glantz, 74, of Lincoln, Nebraska, was brought to a hospital and declared alive. At this point, we have not been able to find any criminal intent by the nursing home, but the investigation is ongoing. Well, she was rude to me, so I'm like, fine, you're dead to me. And they took her. They took her. I don't know why. She was receiving hospice care when she was pronounced dead at 9:44 a.m. So she's probably not long for this world, but she was not ready to be embalmed.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a lesson to all the what do they call them? I know
mortuary science people.
Yes, just a lesson.
Morticians.
Give a little test. Give a little push before you empty the fluids.
New York Times is reporting the pandemic probably started in a lab. I think a lot of that came out of yesterday's testimony with Fauci. That seemed like it was fun. If you're Anthony Fauci, it seemed like it was a good time having having the Republican Congress people yell at you. What's her name? Marjorie Taylor Greene said, I will not call you a doctor. You should be in jail. Well, that's the pot calling the kettle black. She's a doozy. Anyway, that all went on yesterday. If you enjoyed watching any of that. How about the story locally of the road rage incident?
Where I did not see this
where
one.
The guy allegedly pulled what is is it a fake gun? Police said it happened on Oriskany Street Saturday afternoon, according to UPD. Police say Stephen Zangrilli was driving when he became involved in an altercation with another motorist at about 2:45 p.m. Saturday on the 2100 block of Oriskany Street. Police say the victim, what am I reading from here? This is the Rome Sentinel. The victim pulled into a nearby parking lot, and police say Zangrilli followed. A second argument ensued, and police say Zangrilli pulled out, see if we can look this up, what appeared to be a handgun and threatened the other man. Zangrilli left the scene. Authorities said he was found and pulled over a short time later. Police said it was a replica handgun, so that would have been a handgun to look like,
or I think so.
a replica of a handgun. But they call it a replica handgun.
Yeah, that's according to the Utica police as well.
But can you look up what a replica handgun is? I mean, is it like the guns John Wayne used to use? I mean, it's a new gun, it's a replica of an old Western gun.
Was it like the ones you'd get in the plastic things when you?
Was the orange tip taken off?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
anyway,
so you can, if I'm on this website armory.net, and you can buy replica guns.
Okay.
And they're obviously a lot cheaper.
So they don't fire a bullet?
Well, they're blank firing guns.
Oh, yeah.
Colonial replicas, modern pistols.
Yeah, I guess I'm just confused as to what the replica gun really is.
Well, some of these have orange tips.
Yeah. New York State Police are doing a big crackdown this week. I believe it'll start tomorrow. It goes from like the tomorrow through Saturday or Sunday, state police are doing a crackdown on speeding. So if you're a speeder, you want to be careful, because police are not only going to be out on the thruway, but they'll be out throughout the state cracking down on speeding, according to the governor's office, according to the Institute for Traffic Safety Management and Research. At the University of Albany, 345 people died and 11,963 were injured in the state in speed-related crashes in 2022. Additional patrols will oversee highways, work zones, and they will be enforcing the move over law.
Gotcha.
Sometimes you're on the thruway. You can't move over.
No, you can't.
Would you please move over so I can move over? You get a lot of that yelling going on.
By the way, just so you know, the replica guns, they will recycle 8mm. So, like, for instance, this replica gun here that's supposed to be looking like the James Bond movie gun, the model will recycle 5 8mm blanks as fast as you can pull the trigger. The replica features composite checkered grips, a removable clip, and a working safety. It is available in blued or deluxe nickel finish. So I think that the replica guns can give...
They could have bullets.
They can shoot blanks.
Okay. All right. Is it like you'd use for a... maybe you would use for a...
Like a movie set.
Like a movie set or something, yeah.
Just don't give it to Alec Baldwin.
All right, Davey. We have Tanya on line 2. And, of course, it looks like... just don't give it to Baldwin. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It looks like the Biden administration is about to take executive action when it comes to the border. On the line right now from Fox News Radio is Tanya J. Powers. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So this is a long time coming, and I kind of wonder why the wait, why you waited so long. But what are we estimating? Like 440,000 or 4,500 people come across the border every single day. I think that's the number.
Yeah, I've got a ton of information from on this, and I'm looking through it right now to get the exact number. But I can tell you that this executive action that we're expecting the president to take today would allow him to temporarily seal the U.S. border with Mexico when crossings surge. The restrictions would kick in when the number of illegal crossings gets to or exceeds 2,500 a day. That means it would go into effect immediately if this is what's, in the executive order. And I say if because we were getting this from, sources who are familiar with it, but we don't have a copy of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know for sure what's in the announcement for, coming today. But this is the information that we've gotten. The daily totals, like I said, already go past that. The border would reopen to people seeking asylum if the number of crossings stays below 1,500 for a certain period of time. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of what we've got that is expected to be in this announcement today.
So the other interesting thing is there's an exception for unattended children, I believe, right?
That's a good question.
We
don't have a copy. I can't say with certainty, yes, that's what's in it. I don't have a copy of it.
So, and this whole thing is expected to end up in the courts. Now, this is very similar to what President Trump tried to do, and it was challenged in the courts and was stopped. And it's expected because there are people all over the news yesterday that are saying this is inhumane, and you would expect this to land in the courts all over again.
Yes. The administration has already said that they did not, executive action was not what they really wanted to do. They do believe it's going to probably be, legally challenged. Even, the Homeland Security Secretary said last month, legislation is what's needed. And that's actually the route that was attempted earlier in the year, at least once, maybe a couple times now, I guess. Was the bipartisan border bill that was, that failed in February in the Senate. That would have actually done a lot, according to some of the key items that were in that bill. It would have actually restricted border crossings if the daily average encounters were 4,000 in a week. It would have it would have done several things. It would have had, a lot more money for billions for Homeland Security. There was a lot of stuff that was actually in that bill, in case anybody did not read it. But yeah, and he's gotten pushback not only from the GOP, obviously. The GOP got, they were the ones they got a lot of blame for killing the bipartisan bill in February because, a lot of them, former President Trump really didn't want them to pass it because, why give Biden a win in an election on an issue that's a big GOP platform plank. But there is also Democrats who have said that he hasn't done enough on the border. Matter of fact, last month there were 15 House Democrats that wrote a letter to the president asking him to take some executive action on the situation at the border. So this is he's getting it from both sides here.
Yeah. All right. It'll be interesting to see where this all goes, how long it stays in effect. And that is expected either today or sometime this week. All right. Tanya, as always, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
All right. This is, I thought he was coming in earlier. Former mayor, Utica Mayor, Tim Julian, is on the line right now. I know you're coming in a little later this morning, Tim, but good morning. Good morning.
Well, hello, Bill.
My, how your voice has changed.
Yes, you're very energetic this morning.
Boy, Davey, you slip that by me every time. What's up, Stephen? Good morning.
Well, Chief Brooks, I remember him fondly, and he was a great servant for the city of Utica. And I remember seeing him at the Utica Comet hockey games.
Yeah.
And I think if you I'll pitch it to the mayor that today should be Chief Brooks Day in the city of Utica.
Well, we'll have him. We'll have him in studio, so we'll definitely pass your idea along.
Well, maybe it would be Monday, or find out when his birthday was, or something like that. But you're right. He played a huge role in Utica, no doubt about it.
Yes, he did, and may he rest in peace.
Okay, Stephen, thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Now, when you call Davey, do you say, "Hey, it's Tim Julian calling," or do you give him your name and this is all on Davey here? You don't want to blow him in.
My name.
Okay. All right.
Throwing you under the bus there, Davey.
Throw it there. Okay, Stephen. Thank you.
Okay. Bye, Bill.
Have a great day, Stephen Rubitsky. Davey, I don't know. He's kind of throwing you under the bus right there. If you notice that just a little bit.
It's easy to throw me under the bus.
So, speaking of buses, there are already many buses that are heading to the Northeast, heading to Saratoga. The Belmont Stakes this weekend.
That's
People
right.
are already gathering and getting ready for the big event. And, of course, events all week long. It's huge. It's enormous. It is, you'll see people driving their cars, but there are plenty of buses that are taking people up. The only one that isn't making it is the Trump bus. Have you seen the Trump bus?
I have not, no.
There's a bus. It's the size of like a city bus, and it is completely decked out with Trump signs, F. Biden signs. It's like everywhere, and these are real signs that are put on. It's not like it's
like
wrapped.
It's wrapped. It's physical sign.
So and the husband and wife team that actually operate the Trump bus that goes around and they sell Trump merchandise around the country. The Granadas family, husband and wife, they were in New York City a few days ago. And they literally, they don't have to get a hotel because they sleep on the bus. They have a little bedroom on the bus, and the wife says, "I was lying there sleeping, getting a little R&R in, and all of a sudden felt the bus moving. Somehow the bus kicked out of park, or if it was automatic, or kicked out of gear and started rolling without anybody at the steering wheel. And it took out some street signs, some street lights, ripped there were Trump signs, F. Biden signs all over the place, all over the streets of New York City.
Oh, that's awesome.
And all is well. They were not injured, but boy, it had to be pretty scary with the bus just taking off, right? That had to be a little bit on the scary side.
Yeah.
I do have some comments I'll get to coming up in a second. They're saying right now we may be in store for according to the climate experts and National Weather Service, we're going to be in store here in our area for the 8th straight hotter than normal summer. It could be a record breaker, they say. They're expecting hot temperatures above normal for the entire Northeast. Everybody else really in the country is pretty much above normal, except parts of the Midwest, the upper Midwest is it looks like it's going to be average, the same. Everybody else is going to be a little warmer than normal, and we are in the red. So it'll be hotter than normal for us. So they say, the climate people. And that would be the 8th straight year we are hotter than normal. And then one more. Oh, and today, I believe Route 31 is closed for a part of today, or maybe they've gotten it cleaned up. There was a tractor trailer accident, and because of that, they've had to shut down. Let me do a couple of comments. You have some comments there as well?
I don't have any now.
Go ahead, Davey.
It was closed for majority of the day yesterday.
So today it's back open?
I believe so.
Okay. Mike this morning, pulling a replica handgun on somebody is the dumbest thing. If the other guy doesn't have a gun, he's going to call the cops and you get arrested. And if the other guy does have a gun,
you're going to be in trouble.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
That's very true. Going to be very interesting, says Mike, with the new president of Mexico and what her stance will be on border policy. And speaking of flags, I wonder if they will fly the flag at half-mast at City Hall today in honor of Chief Brooks. My guess is probably the answer to that will be yes.
Oh, I do have Dick and Deerfield here.
Rob is disagreeing with Tanya. HR 2 would have done more. The problem is, though, the thing that kills me is this whole concept of, nope, that's not enough, so we'll do nothing. That's how the Titanic, come on over here and help us fill the hole. That's not going to completely fill the hole. I'm sorry, I'm not going to help you. Yes, but it'll keep us up until some of the life rafts come. I'm sorry, I'm not going to help you. We're gonna have, because it's not a full, complete fix. We're going to have to let it sink. And it's that philosophy that I do not understand in politics today. It's an all or nothing. You do it all my way, or we're not going to do it at all. We're here at the fire, and it looks like we don't have the big hose, so we're going to just hang here until we get the big one. We are not going to fight this fire with a medium-sized hose. That, to me, doesn't make any sense. I get it. You got to fight for what you want. But in Washington, don't we all know that there's give and take? You get a little
anymore.
here. There's none of that, it seems. There's none of it. What else do you have there, Andrew? Derminio.
Dick and Deerfield. First American legal experts say cities are free to decide which flags can be flown at municipal buildings. City leaders can choose to display some flags and not others as they see fit. Utica's new unwritten policy, which is not true because there is a written policy that will be sent to me. Utica's new unwritten policy so far seems to exclude only the pride flag. Is the administration so buried
That
under
is
flag?
not true, though.
Yeah.
That's not true.
I don't know where Dick and Deerfield's getting his information from.
I mean, I don't mean to be, I'm not here defending Galimi, but I'm just saying the facts, that's not true.
Yeah.
If you choose to, I mean, there are a lot of people that have causes and they want to fly the flag.
Like the Catholic schools.
Personally, to be honest with you,
the Catholic diocese.
this is where this all came from. It was the Catholic schools.
Yeah, they were rejected.
But here's what I believe. They should just adopt a policy that already exists, whether it's the federal policy, the state policy. Just don't try to reinvent any wheel here. Just adopt whatever policy somebody else uses. They've already done the legal work on it, right? All right. Anything else?
That's the only one that's come in from the app thus far.
Are you hearing? I haven't heard much of it here, and we will usually in the heat of August. You'll hear the cicadas, right?
Yeah, I haven't heard much so far.
I have not heard any here. However, there are parts around the country where they are very, very loud. and you kind of hear it in the morning, or in the nighttime, right? You kind of hear it. But now there are parts of the country that are getting just thousands and thousands of them. And as a result, they have decided to, hey, we're going to just have a little fun with it. So there's a bar in Chicago that's selling $5 shots of cicada-infused booze. Each shot comes with a cicada in the glass that you're supposed to eat like you would the worm in tequila.
Oh, how big of a glass is it? Like a pint glass?
Here's a group trying the shot for the very first time. Here, it's a shot.
Ugh.
It's a shot. Okay? This does kind of remind me of something that happened. I might even have audio. This does.
Assistant. Fast forwards your workflow.
Okay, it's just playing commercials. Here are people trying it for the first time.
Cicada bullets! I did it!
I videoed it. Oh, baby, look at those cicadas. How many do I get in my shot?
You get one.
Just one? Well, I'm going to shoot a cicada.
You have to.
There are cicada pancakes being made. There are cicada muffins.
Yuck.
People are turning these insects into. I'm going to tell you what happened to us yesterday. It was terrible, but I just let it go. So last night, my wife made dinner, and we had one of the sides that we had was broccoli, and she did a really nice. She put some olive oil on it.
Oh, it's so good.
Steamed it with some salt and pepper. It was really, really good. And I said, "That is the best. I swear to God, this happened. That is the best broccoli. That tastes so good. I'm not a big broccoli fan."
Yeah.
And she said, "Look what I found in mine." And there was about a 1/4-inch slug or worm.
Oh.
Now, it was steamed.
Yeah, so it's probably killed whatever. And
It was
cleaned up.
yeah, it was steamed.
Ugh.
She washed it before we cooked it. And you realize there's a very good chance that I just ate it.
Yeah, you
It
could
might have
yeah.
been. Might have been the best broccoli I've
Are you really
ever.
complaining? You would have liked it.
It is the best
Clearly.
broccoli I've ever had, worm and all. It was really, really good. I have a bunch more to get to, but Andrew's looking at me like, how come you didn't take a break a minute ago? I need to take a break here. We have a ton to get to. Davey, this morning we're giving people a chance to win Hobica's free money question of the day. And today we have a chance for you to win
$200.
$200. Wow, Davey is on fire these days. $200 online and on the line here for Hobica and the contestant that we use sometime around 7:35. We'll get to all of it coming up. Get ready for that. News is straight ahead at WIBX.
For a lasting impression, trust the quality and craftsmanship of Humphrey Memorials. They're experienced in all facets of memorial design, sales of monuments and mausoleums, on-site cemetery lettering, cleaning and restoration, and specialty services like etched glassware, mirrors, and landscape products. Humphrey Memorials of Herkimer has been making a lasting impression in central New York since 1946. They also handle commercial construction projects as well. Find out more at humphrey-memorials.com. or call 866-4471.
Replacing your roof isn't a decision you take lightly. You want industry standards met with affordable options and a crew who knows how important a sound roof is to you and your family. Dennis Padula & Sons Roofing is your hometown roofers with deep roots in our community. Padula Roofers specialize in residential roofing projects. They're a GAF-certified master elite roofing contractor who keeps their standards above the rest. Call 315-733-1564 to find out more about their Roofs for Troops mail-in rebate. Dennis Padula & Sons Roofing, your hometown roofers.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota compact tractors. The Kubota L Series is the #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. Right now at participating dealers, get a Kubota compact tractor for 0 down 0% APR. For up to 60 months plus, save up to $2,300 on select equipment. Now through June 30th, see us or go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimer. Visit us at WhitesFarmSupply.com.
White's Farm Supply.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
WIBX Utica, Rome.
The Hunter Biden trial has a jury. I'm Chris Foster. Fox News, 6 men and 6 women chosen along with 4 alternates to hear the case against the president's son in federal court in Delaware. He's accused of lying about his drug use uninformed by a gun 5 years ago.
Originally, 3 days were set aside for jury selection, meaning things are running ahead of schedule so far. The jury panel includes 1 retired Secret Service agent whose spouse was a D.C. police officer, several gun owners, and a man whose father was killed by a gun. 5 jurors reported close relationships to people with drug addiction, something central to the case.
Fox's Jackie Ibanez. President Biden's expected to announce an executive order today limiting how many people can claim asylum after crossing the border.
The White House has yet to publicly confirm their plans, but several reports, including from the Associated Press, say this executive order would shut down asylum requests between ports of entry once illegal border crossings hit 2,500. The border would only reopen once this number drops to 1,500. The move will likely be met with legal challenges.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. New Jersey Senate Democrat Bob Menendez, now on trial for federal bribery charges, is running for re-election as an independent. It takes 800 signatures on a petition to get on the November ballot in New Jersey. He's turned in around 2,400 and could take votes away from whoever wins today's New Jersey primaries.
Congressman Andy Kim seeks the Democratic nomination and could earn the support of ex-Menendez allies who called for his resignation after his indictment last year. Republican Christine Glasner has been endorsed by former President Donald Trump. In Newark, New Jersey, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
There are heat alerts from central California to South Texas. Some daily high temperature records are expected to be broken, with the hottest day during this first heat wave of the year expected tomorrow. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
All right, who's there for heroes or their families left behind when a service member or a first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless vets? I'll tell you who. It's the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org, the letter T, number 2, letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Dr. Anthony Fauci was back at the Capitol defending his record on COVID-19.
Facing grilling mainly from Republican members of the House subcommittee, Dr. Fauci says he did not cover up or try to suppress the Wuhan lab leak theory. Fauci was also asked about the response to COVID and the recommendation of vaccine mandates, specifically if mandates cause vaccine hesitancy, to which the doctor says there needs to be an after-the-event evaluation.
Given the psyche of the country and the pushback that you get from those types of things, we need to reevaluate the cost-benefit ratio of those types of things.
Fauci says the limiting of mass gatherings was justified during the height of the pandemic. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
An 83-year-old South Carolina woman is seriously injured, gored by a bison in Yellowstone National Park. The announcement from the National Park Service says it happened Saturday and reminds visitors to stay at least 25 yards away from all large animals. Cyndi Lauper announces one last tour later this year.
The aptly titled Girls Just Want to Have Fun farewell tour will see her hitting arenas in 23 cities in North America this fall, kicking it off October 18th in Montreal and ending it December 5th in Chicago at the United Center Arena, with stops in Detroit, Nashville, New York, San Francisco, and more. Lauper did not release any statement explaining her reasons for deciding to do a farewell tour now, although she is expected to talk about it later this week as she promotes a new documentary about her career, Let the Canary Sing, that premieres on Paramount Plus Tuesday. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
Pro Football Hall of Fame offensive lineman Larry Allen died, 52 years old. A statement from the Dallas Cowboys says he'd been on vacation in Hawaii. No cause of death is announced. Allen was a Super Bowl champion with the Cowboys in 1996, an 11-time Pro Bowler, 10 times during his 12 seasons in Dallas, once during his final 2 seasons in San Francisco. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time 7:05. I'm Andrew Derminio. 62 degrees under sunny skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. This update brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Sad news for the city of Utica as it was announced yesterday that Chief Russ Brooks passed away. He was a longtime fire chief and firefighter in the city of Utica, and he will be sadly missed. We've got a full story on the life and legacy of Chief Brooks at our website, WIBX950.com. We will speak to a number of guests this morning as they will also remember Chief Brooks and the contributions he made to not only the city, but firefighters across the state. A Utica man was arrested after allegedly pointing a gun at and threatening another man on Oriskany Street. Utica police say they were called to the area shortly before 3 p.m. Saturday for a fight between two motorists. The victim said they pulled into a parking lot and the suspect, identified as 44-year-old Steve Zangrilli, followed him into the lot. Another interaction took place, and Zangrilli allegedly pointed a handgun at the victim before getting into his vehicle and fleeing. Police located the car and found a replica handgun in the vehicle. Zangrilli was charged with second-degree menacing and criminal possession of a weapon in the third degree. A Frankfort man was arrested on grand larceny charges. According to Utica police, they received complaints of an individual filing false ownership claims at a local recycling plant to deposit motor vehicles. According to authorities, 32-year-old Ivan Figueroa would illegally remove vehicles from properties and bring them to the plant in exchange for money. Figueroa was apprehended by police and was charged with 2 counts of fourth-degree grand larceny. New York State Police and other departments filed other charges in Herkimer County. A woman remains in critical condition after being brutally attacked by 3 dogs at an apartment in Cortland. The incident happened Sunday on Main Street, and the victim suffered severe wounds to her chest, shoulders, head, and arms. One of the dogs was shot and killed by police, and the other 2 were taken to a nearby shelter where they are under quarantine. It's unknown if the woman is the person who owns the dogs. Drivers across the state are going to want to keep a close eye on their speedometers over the next few days. That's because police are taking part in their yearly Speed Week enforcement campaign that will run through June 9th. Data shows speeding and reckless driving are leading causes of deadly crashes in New York State each year. Speeding fines can cost people hundreds of dollars, depending on the nature of the offense. And a couple says they pulled up a safe containing $100,000 in cash while magnet fishing in a New York City park. James Kane and Barbie Agostini of Queens pulled out an old safe from the lake in Corona Park Friday afternoon. The couple pried the safe open and found the cash wrapped in plastic, which was unfortunately ruined by water. Kane, a veteran magnet fisherman, said he and Agostini had found several safes in the past, most of which were emptied or contained some plastic bags to hold smaller amounts of cash. Kane and Agostini were allowed to keep the suspected stolen safe as there was no way of identifying the previous owner. It is 7:08. Your weather forecast is brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
Here's the latest from the WIBX Weather Center. Today, partly cloudy, high 85. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 65. Tomorrow, more sun, partly cloudy, high 85. That's the latest time by Johnson for WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Right now, 62 degrees under sunny skies. It's 7:09. Sports brought to you by IBEW Nika 43 local contractors. The Mets managed to hold on for an 8-7 win over the Nationals in their series opener from D.C. Tyler McGill was credited with the victory after striking out 4 and allowing 5 runs, 4 of them earned over 5 innings. New York is still 4th in the NL East at 25-35. They'll continue to claw their way to 500 in their 3-game set tonight at Nationals Park. The Yankees will be looking to extend their winning streak to 6 games after getting back home after a long and successful West Coast road trip. They'll begin a 3-game series against the Minnesota Twins tonight at Yankee Stadium. Right-hander Luis Gil, who has been red hot, is slated to make his 12th start of the season. He enters 7-1 with a 1.99 ERA and 79 strikeouts over 63-plus innings. The Bronx Bombers are currently leading the AL East at 42-19. The Giants could be looking to replace one of their tight ends. According to ESPN, veteran Darren Waller will make a decision about his playing future by next week's mandatory minicamp, but the expectation around the team is that he will retire. New York would save $11.9 million on the cap this year if he is made a post-June 1st cut. The G-men have around $1.6 million available in cap space. Justin Jefferson is making history. On Monday, the star wide receiver and the Minnesota Vikings agreed to terms on the largest contract in NFL history for a non-quarterback. According to ESPN, the extension is for 4 years and worth up to $140 million. ESPN also reports that the deal, which is through the 2028 season, is for $110 million guaranteed, with over $88 million due when he signs. Jefferson has been one of the most prolific wide receivers in the NFL since entering the league in 2020. He has recorded over 1,000 yards in each of his 4 seasons and has been named to 3 Pro Bowls. In 2022, he led the NFL in reception and yards, and so he is the highest non-quarterback player to ever get that type of contract. Now, the risk there is you have to have a good quarterback to throw to you. So the Minnesota Vikings are taking a definite chance, but we'll see where it goes. It is 7-11.
Coming up, we'll talk to John Zagby, also Dr. Kent Hall this morning, and Chief Ingresol is also coming up with the Utica Fire Department, and Hobucka's free money question of the day. This morning, according to Davey, it's worth $200. Wow. River Hills Properties, the #1 independent real estate agency in all of upstate New York. And #2, if you include the big chains, it's because of the services they provide, all the extra things that they do. When you list your home with River Hills, you have basically brought on a partner to assist you in all of the things that bring you stress. Your listing agent is there for the inspection, for the appraisal, right?
Every facet.
From the very beginning till the very end, and including every time your house is shown, your listing agent is there to make sure the lights are on, the house is ready to be shown, and to keep an eye on the property for you. That's all of what is done with a River Hills agent. Every River Hills agent offers these services, and no wonder they continue to grow. They have offices in Barneville, Little Falls, in Rome and Utica, online at riverhillspropertiesllc.com. Call 315-896-1009. Remember, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties. And check out their new TV show called Sold in upstate New York. It's available right now on YouTube, or you can watch it this weekend on TV. But on YouTube, just search Sold in upstate New York.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for the past 52 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantique.com.
There's no glory in getting beat up on the job. Aches and pains aren't trophies. They're just barriers keeping pros like you from getting work done. But Ferris commercial mowers at Clinton Tractor help you finish strong and feel good doing it with patented suspension technology. Visit Clinton Tractor today for a test drive and feel the Ferris difference. Or go to clintontractor.net. Ferris, work hard, feel good.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
This is Bill Cole from Gates Cole Insurance. Finding insurance coverage can be an overwhelming undertaking. As your local independent insurance company, we work hard for you to get the best coverage.
My name is Timothy Dean. I'm from Taberg, New York. I have Dean's Concessions. I travel throughout New York State. I have been a customer for over 20 years, personal, with Gates Cole. And ever since I've started my business for the last 18 years have been solely with Gates Cole Insurance. is I have to call them from time to time to get certificates, and they take in within 15, 20 minutes. We have a certificate. Gates Cole has exceptional customer service. They're there for you, and I have referred people to Gates Cole, and those people that have transferred over to Gates Cole have been very happy with their services.
This is Tom Cole. For insurance for your home, auto, business, and just about everything else, trust your local independent insurance agency. Gates Cole Insurance. We'll take care of you.
Memorial Day savings at Adirondack Home Furniture is here, and that means time to upgrade for summer. For a limited time, Adirondack Home Furniture is offering 2 years interest-free financing. They're overstocked in every department and need to make room for new pieces. Upgrade to a new sofa, dining set, bedroom set, outdoor poly furniture, and more. Adirondack Home Furniture has a large line of quality, USA-made furniture from top manufacturers. You'll find something for every room, inside and out. From modern to farmhouse, rustic to transitional, with 2 years interest-free financing, free local delivery, and a professional, knowledgeable staff, you'll have your dream home in no time. Plus, their salespeople are non-commissioned, so you'll enjoy a relaxing, no-pressure experience. Celebrate Memorial Day and save big at Adirondack Home Furniture's 2 years interest-free event. Stop in today, Adirondack Home Furniture, Riverside Center in North Utica, or at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
Ready to hit the road with confidence this summer? Look no further than Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your one-stop shop for top-quality tires at unbeatable prices. At Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, we believe that safety and savings go hand in hand. That's why we offer the best prices up front on top brands, including Summit, Nokian, Bridgestone, and more. With Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, you'll drive away with peace of mind and money in your pocket. Locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, good morning. Coming up, we'll talk to Dr. Kent Hall from formerly of Wynn Hospital. Some interesting stuff out there, of course, with Anthony Fauci on the hot seat yesterday. And interesting stuff about COVID, its origin, but even beyond that, what is happening to some people who have had COVID? You might be surprised, and we'll get to that coming up in a few minutes with Dr. Hall. Right now, though, John Zagby from Zagby Strategies, the Trump verdict, and what does it mean for his chances at re-election? John Zagby, good morning. Glad to have you back
Hi,
here.
Bill. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on.
Sure.
What's your this seems to be a very complex issue because he's raising money, there's no doubt, but there are Republicans, albeit 1 out of 10, who say because of the verdict I won't be voting for him. What do the numbers look like?
Well, for starters, he maintains strong support among those who identify as Republicans. He's at about 85, 88% of that group. That's about average, and that is about what it has been right along. If anything, this verdict may add a percent or two. You know, for the record, Joe Biden is doing about the same among Democrats. You know, what we're watching, though, are those groups that could move. Mm-hmm. So, you know, one group are the 1 in 5 actual voters in the primaries who voted mainly for Nikki Haley, who say if President Trump is convicted of a felony, I would be less likely to vote for him. But that's complicated because was this the right felony?
Right.
You know? Then there are groups that we call the double haters. That's about 20% of the electorate who tell us we don't like either guy. We really don't like either guy. I suspect we're going to see those tilt away from Trump a little bit, at least in the short run.
Yeah.
But when all is said and done, Bill, on average, Trump was leading by a point or two in the polls, and right now, as the new ones come out post verdict, Biden is leading by 1 or 2, and so It looks bigger because the average lead has changed, but it's really a whole lot of nothing.
So it is interesting because even those who say they're voting for Biden, even those people are like, but is this the best we could do? I would so much like another candidate. I don't think there's anyone out there that, and maybe there are. I'm sure there are some, but that are out there saying, I'm all in on Biden. He should be the one. It seems that way.
There's a real lack of enthusiasm on the Biden side, and it's compounded by what I call the consultant industrial complex. The group of consultants that work for the Democratic National Committee and Democratic campaigns who are saying to themselves, we got to get somebody better. That's an early case of throwing in the towel, and that certainly doesn't help Biden at all when there's that kind of buzz going on.
It is. Have you ever seen anything? I mean, through history, can we go back to a time where you had anything like this?
Well, a whole combined this, no. There are so many fronts like that. Yeah, there have been lackluster candidates. There have been candidates of questionable virtue. But no, I mean, this is, I guess you call it a perfect storm. Both parties don't like their nominees. Both parties think that they're going to lose. Neither party is aware of what the other side is saying.
Right.
So we get into Kellyanne's notion of not only alternative arguments but alternative facts. I mean, if you were to turn on, if you watch MSNBC, if you were to turn on Fox, you'd say, what planet am I talking about?
Yeah.
And vice versa.
It is very interesting. Like when the verdict came down, and I flipped around to everybody, again, depending on where you go, was what you were getting on. There was just, you're right. It's like, what planet? This is a completely different narrative.
And it's very unlikely in this situation that a unifier comes in. I mean, you asked the question just a minute ago. If it isn't Trump and Biden, who?
Yeah. I have Richard here who has a question for you. Richard, you're on with John Zagby. What's your question?
Yes, Mr. Zagby. I'm wondering, when you hear these reports of $100 million came in on this candidate or $75 million came in on this candidate, how much of that money actually makes it to the candidate, and how much of it is just a pledge?
That's a very good question.
I'm going to hang up. I'm going to hang up, Richard, and let John answer that. Thanks for that. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, that's a very good question, and it's like any campaign, political or not-for-profit. By and large, the money does actually come in, because these days a lot of the money comes in not with checks in envelopes, but electronically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got the power of the debit card or credit card. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so the money does come in.
I also see. I've been getting a ton of out-of-state candidates looking for money. There's a lot of that right now.
There's a huge amount of it, and it is spam filter notwithstanding that those messages get through. I've just shut down my Yahoo account.
Yeah,
because I get solicitations from both sides, and it's annoying.
So it is annoying.
That's a good way to put it, John.
How do you? I mean, with a race this close, and it is this close, and we have, this is the beginning of June, so you still have a long time for something to happen, and it just feels like both of these campaigns are so fragile that it could be anything that could happen that could could not necessarily with those people who are embedded. There are those with Biden period, and there are those with Trump period. But those that could change their mind or not even vote at all. How do you predict this? How do we predict? You don't. Yeah.
You don't. No. The polls have no predictive value at this point in time whatsoever. They're a measurement of where we stand because of the reasons you just mentioned. We have a long way to go, and a long way to go both sides beating each other's brains in.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that may very well happen, and we've seen it before in statewide races, is that you get down to likely voters who are undecided in the last week and who finally say, look, both of you guys are right. You both stink.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to vote. That's the thing I'm looking at very closely, is what the turnout is actually going to be.
And you wonder how this affects Congress, right? So
yes,
and our own 22nd congressional district. What are your thoughts? There?
It looks like it's going to be closely competitive. I won't comment on the primary because I think that's closely competitive. You have two different wings, shall we say, of the party, and Sarah Lee Hood had a very good showing, overspent by tens of thousands of dollars the last time, but came within a few points of the party designee. So I wouldn't bet on that race today. And then Brandon Williams. Technically this is not a MAGA district. This is still the holdover from the Sherry Bowler, Mike Arcuri, Richard Hanna days. It was anyway a moderate to moderate Republican district. Plus the fact that I honestly don't know that anybody would know Brandon Williams walking down the street.
Yeah, he does have that. He has that problem. Yeah.
So it's very competitive, and if you have a television, look out because you're going to be bombarded.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's already annoying. I'm watching.
One of the 10 seats.
I'm trying to watch. Sorry, John. I'm trying to watch the Yankee game, and every time they go to commercial break, there's a John Mannion primary commercial. And it's the same one. So it's like, change it up a little bit, man.
Well, this is, I think, John, you're absolutely correct. This is just the beginning.
Just the beginning.
It's going to be crazy. All right. As always, John, we appreciate it. What an interesting year. We'll be writing about this year and then look back and say, why did we even write about that? Kind of wonder. All right, John, thank you so much.
We'll talk again. Take care.
Thank you. I want to switch right now to Dr. Kent Hall. Comes on each week to talk about some medical issues out there. If you have anything, 315-736-0186. Dr. Hall, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good. I did want your take. I don't know if you saw any of the congressional testimony yesterday with Anthony Fauci and what your take was.
Yeah, I saw some snippets, and it kind of looked like a food fight. Was I didn't obviously everything that I saw that was on the TV was really more of the adversarial stuff. So it was whoever was against Fauci talking to Fauci and him responding. It's hard to know because I don't know how long he talked for, but it was longer than the 45 seconds that I saw. But it's obviously that there's still a lot of heat and anger and I don't know, animosity toward him about how the pandemic and how he, as the point person, handled the pandemic. So
I do think it's important for someone like Jim Jordan to go after Fauci, because where others there is a group out there that blames Trump for a lot of the. I mean, remember the full shutdown came under President Trump, and so I really think Republicans are trying to get out in front. They're trying to get out in front so as to blame someone else other than Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think you're right, and it does become political, which is, I mean, that's the world that we live in. On the one hand, on the other hand, this is a medical issue, and I truly believe that people, whether it's Dr. Fauci or President Trump or whoever, were doing what they thought was the right thing to do in the moment with the information that was at hand.
Yeah.
I think that as things moved on, some politics became more and more embedded in it, and maybe even became a priority for some people. I'm not going to say who on which side that is true. But I do believe that if you look at the healthcare system across the country, the vast majority of folks that were taking care of people were really trying to do the right thing for the people that they were taking care of, whether that's the community as a whole. So I'm talking about public health people, whether it's, Oneida County public health or New York State public health, or whether it's, individual doctors taking care of individual patients.
Yeah.
So, I give people grace. I also acknowledge that we live in a political world.
So the Fauci thing was one thing. Wait till next week when the House puts former Governor Andrew Cuomo on the witness stand. That is going to be, I would assume, very contentious and something to watch. So that's coming next week. I wanted to ask you, too, if you saw the report on, and we're getting a lot of this, people with connections to COVID. So if you've had COVID more than once, or you've had it once, or whatever the story is, that there may be heart issues, there may be other issues. Recently, a study talking about COVID and a connection to leukemia. What do we know about that?
Yeah, so this is interesting. So first of all, the information that we have is about correlation, and it's not causation. So we can't make the leap and say that COVID is causing things. What we can say is that when you look at cancers as a whole, and again, cancer is not a single disease. It is, multiple diseases depending upon whether it's blood cancer or bone cancer or brain cancer. They all have the same, overproduction of immature cells that kind of take over, but they're really caused by different things. Their treatments are different. But when you look at them as a whole, during the pandemic, there was an increase relative to other cancers. There was an increase in blood-related cancers, so leukemia, lymphoma, things like that, relative to other cancers during the pandemic, or since the pandemic. And that is interesting. When you look at data during the pandemic, actually cancer diagnoses went down. That is probably more related to the fact that people weren't going to doctors,
right, getting
because
tested.
they were afraid to go out. So there's conflicting data. I will say that there is theoretical evidence, or a theoretical construct, that viruses do cause or do lead to some kinds of cancers. So, there is a virus, the Epstein-Barr virus, which is the virus that causes mononucleosis, also is known to cause a lymphoma called Burkitt's lymphoma. So there is evidence that some viruses can cause some cancers. I mean, we know the HPV virus and cervical cancer in women. So that's another one. So it is not a tremendous leap to say that is it possible that the SARS-CoV-2 virus may induce some mutations in genes that can lead to cancers. I think that that's a reasonable supposition. Do we have data to support it yet? We don't.
Yeah.
And again,
Right.
this is something that takes a long time, and this is bench research that molecular geneticists are going to be using. But I would say that it is not outside of the realm of possibility that we are going to see an increase in some types of cancer that may be linked to people who have been infected with COVID.
And then finally, Mike says, I'm very concerned that because of COVID, there are many parents out there not getting their kids vaccinated with traditional vaccines, worried because he says we don't need smallpox coming back. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm less concerned about smallpox. Measles is the one that really scares me because that's already happening. The incidence of kids coming down with measles has been going up significantly, and this goes back to what we started with, which was the whole politics of vaccines and people being afraid of a brand new vaccine, and I get concerns. Yeah. I understand those, but the childhood vaccines have been around for decades, and they have been shown to number one, be highly protective, and number two, to have minimal to no long-term side effects beyond the low-grade fevers, et cetera, in the vast majority of people. And so this vaccine hesitancy, which has come up over the last 3 or 4 years, and unfortunately has been fed a little bit by what we saw with Dr. Fauci last on the TV. That is really concerning. My advice to people is that understand what it is that is being asked to be done in terms of giving vaccines, but understand also that for vaccines that have been around for decades, they're safe, they're highly effective, and the native disease. So if kids get measles, it isn't just that they get a rash and it goes away in 7 to 10 days. This is, they can become infertile, they can get meningitis, they can die. So this is not a disease to be trifled with.
Dr. Hall, as always, we appreciate the time. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll do it again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day, and please be safe.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Kent Hall. All right. Time for us to do Hobica's Free Body Question of the Day. Davey's saying it's worth $200 today. $200. And you're looking for caller number what, Davey?
You sound like Mr. Snuffleupagus.
$200. How much we're talking about?
Caller 7.
Or I say, what number caller are we talking about? Caller number 7 right now at 315-736-0186. $200 on the line. Caller 7 right now at WIBX.
Ready to hit the road with confidence this summer? Look no further than Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your one-stop shop for top-quality tires at unbeatable prices. At Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, we believe that safety and savings go hand in hand. That's why we offer the best prices up front on top brands, including Summit, Nokian, Bridgestone, and more. With Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, you'll drive away with peace of mind and money in your pocket. Locations in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Replacing your roof isn't a decision you take lightly. You want industry standards met with affordable options and a crew who knows how important a sound roof is to you and your family. That is Padula & Sons Roofing is your hometown roofers with deep roots in our community. Padula Roofers specialize in residential roofing projects. They're a GAF-certified master elite roofing contractor who keeps their standards above the rest. Call 315-733-1564 to find out more about their Roofs for Troops mail-in rebate. That is Padula & Sons Roofing, your hometown roofers.
You want to recycle, but you're not sure what's recyclable, what goes in your weekly recycling bin, or what goes in the trash. Wheelock Disposal Service, your recycling experts, wants to give you some helpful tips in determining what waste goes where. When it comes to a few common household items, did you know that plastic hangers and toys do not go in with your recyclables? They go in your everyday trash bin, but if you have paperback books, they are recyclable. For more information, go to wheelockdisposal.com, your recycling experts.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
We're here for you when that tree falls on your garage.
Uh-oh.
or when that small roof leak turns into something bigger.
Uh-oh.
For all the uh-ohs in life, call the Frigo Agency. Life is complicated, and everyone's needs are different. When you sit down with the Frigo Agency, you're dealing with local people who understand your needs. So for all of life's uh-ohs, you need the Frigo Agency on Clinton Road in New Hartford. Get started today at uticarominsurance.com.
Are you sick of being just a number or doing a mindless job? Become a craftsman in a trade. Become an IBEW electrician. The IBEW and the Electrician Training Alliance will give you all the tools necessary at their state-of-the-art training facility. Earn as you learn. Paid training while you get your certification. What are you waiting for? Become an IBEW Local 43 electrician. Call or go online today to learn more. Find your career at IBEW and let the Electrician Training Alliance light up your future.
Paid for by government.com. Have you heard? A recent stash of 1902 Morgan silver dollar coins has been found. These gorgeous 1902 silver dollar coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 300 of these Morgan silver dollars are available. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone interested in silver coins. Just call government at 1-800-973-3091, and you are guaranteed a mint condition 1902 Morgan silver dollar featuring the iconic old mint mark of the New Orleans Mint, but with limited quantity. You must call now. These 1902 silver coins are still in uncirculated condition. That is 122 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-973-3091. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $25 value free with every order. Call 1-800-973-3091 now to secure your 1902 Morgan silver dollars before they sell out. That's 1-800-973-3091.
Memorial Day deals are here at Mattress Express. Save up to $500 on select Tempur-Pedic sets and then get up to a $300 prepaid Visa card from Mattress Express. Then take up to 60 months to pay with no money down for qualified buyers on Tempur-Pedic at Mattress Express.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Where do you go? I mean, when you do you have I keep getting all these ads in my Facebook for non-alcoholic liquor.
You're getting those?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know why. I think my wife's planting it. So, have you ever tasted non-alcoholic liquor?
I have. There's a little bar and restaurant in the development that my future in-laws just built a house in Florida.
And you had some.
And they had some. And actually, the guy the bartender made a cocktail that was specifically designed around that liquor, and it's, really good. I've never had it straight. I have had an NA tequila.
Awful.
Yeah. I have had an NA margarita, like tequila cocktail at another place in Poughkeepsie, and that was okay.
Well,
but
that's
when
all,
it's mixed with something.
When you use the lime juice and all that stuff is so overpowering anyway, right? So,
as far as just straight, I just don't understand how, because I was a big vodka drinker when I drank, so I just don't know how you can enjoy the taste of vodka without any alcohol in it.
Because it really,
that's all it is.
The alcohol is the only thing that you taste.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
The little burn sensation.
The little spice.
Time to do Habaika's free money question of the day. It is worth today. We've not had a winner in June yet. It is worth today $200. Comes from Joseph and Andrew Habaika at 315-724-1600. On the line right now to take a shot at it is Charlie in Kirkland. Hello, Charlie. Good morning.
Hello, Bill. Good morning.
Are you ready?
I think so.
You know the deal. You can have exactly 7 seconds. It moves quickly.
7 seconds.
So make sure you're ready to go. And here is your question. Name the first ever released feature-length animated movie. Ready, go.
Fantasia.
Was it Disney's Fantasia?
Oh, that's actually a good guess.
That is a good guess.
Right along the lines.
I would have said.
But Fantasia was
Steamboat,
in the 90s?
Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
Wasn't there an original Fantasia?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I thought it was in the 40s-ish.
Yeah.
40s.
The answer though is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That was the.
Can't say that anymore.
What's the first one that made people cry? I'm pretty sure it was Bambi. Yeah, it was Bambi.
Bambi, yeah.
All right, we're going to give you one of our nostalgic retro WIBX T-shirts.
I'd rather have that than the $200.
There you go. I mean, because I think they sell for $200 on eBay.
Yeah, right. You just got to wait a while.
We'll also give you. We'll also going to give you the $25 gift card, the Food and Fun card, which is good at Babes. That includes their brunch on Sundays, Taylor and the Cook, Cookies Q and Creamery, the Comets, any of those venues at Nexus as well, and of course Aquavino. So stand by, Davey's going to hook you up.
Copy. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. The Steamboat Willie was a short. That ultimately became Mickey Mouse.
Right, that's correct. And
you were a Disney
cast member.
Cast intern.
That's what you're called, yeah. Disney college program. But you're still, whether you're employed via the
you're a cast
the
member.
college internship program or that's what it is, because you're constantly putting on a show. And they give you a very long and very detail-oriented training and education on the world of Disney.
Which a lot of it is underground.
Which is actually the first floor.
So you're really walking on the second floor when you walk in.
Correct.
Pretty wild. Okay.
And just one cool thing, the real estate was so hot when they found out that it was Disney that was buying up the land to build the park because of what he had done in California. He had to make up different dummy corporations in order to purchase the land.
People thought it was other people buying it, had no idea it was Disney. Yeah, that's true. Yesterday, the sad news came down. We'd been hearing some stuff about Chief Brooks, that he was sadly nearing the end. And yesterday, the news came that legendary Utica Fire Chief Russ Brooks had passed away. Scott Ingresol is the current chief of the Utica Fire Department and is on the line right now. Scott, good morning. A sad day for the Utica Fire Department.
Yeah, it sure is, Bill. Chief Brooks, 43 years of service, and he was a larger-than-life personality, and he really led our department well, and seen a lot happen during his 43 years.
He was larger than life.
Yeah, he was a tall man, too.
Yeah, he was big anyway. But
very tall, very tall.
But on top of that, he was larger than life. There was something. I would joke with him and say, you remind me of like Jack Palance, the legendary actor in Hollywood who came out on the Academy Awards and started doing, at age, 80, started doing one-arm push-ups. That was Chief Brooks.
That was Chief Brooks through and through. I remember when I was appointed to the fire department, he'd come and do PT with us and do the stairs and everything, and he was quite an active guy.
So, also, I believe under his watch is when the ambulance service came to fruition.
It is. We have to give him credit for a lot of things that we are doing now. He started the fire academy, that regional fire academy that has really taken off and has trained hundreds and hundreds of firefighters from throughout the state. We started the ambulance service in 2005, which, obviously we're 19 years into that ambulance service. Last year in 2023, we transported almost 8,500 patients to local hospitals.
Wow.
One of the other things that he deserves a lot of credit for is the creation of the rental occupancy inspection program and the 1203 program, which has really significantly reduced the amount of fires that we have seen in the city since its implementation in 2006.
So the other part of this that I think is an important takeaway is he really, I know this is kind of a national movement as well, but he really was able to shed a light on the fact that firefighters are not only put in danger every single day because of fire, but it's the toxins that they're breathing in when they attend fire after fire after fire. Oftentimes it leads to work-related cancer.
It does, and and unfortunately he he paid a price for that. When he was appointed to the fire department in the mid '70s, they were using masks, but they weren't using masks. And those older school firefighters, they were exposed to a lot of stuff, and obviously we still are. And that's certainly one of the things that he suffered from, that occupational-related cancer. His time spent at Ground Zero, there was a lot of exposure on that as well. And, he certainly paid the price for that.
What is protocol on something like this, a death like this? Of course, calling hours will be Sunday, the funeral on Monday. What type of funeral can we expect?
The fire department will be there. We will be out in full force to support our former fire chief and to make sure that his presence is remembered, and that we don't forget his sacrifices and what he's done for the city and for the fire department.
Yeah, it's kind of tough that you have to come off. I have to deal with this news coming off a celebration of the 150th anniversary, and I saw the photos from the event, and I heard from a lot of people that it was just an awesome job that you guys did to put on a great event to remember the 150th birthday. But then having to deal with this on the heels of it, the news of the passing of a truly great man, must be very difficult.
Yeah, and that's why we want to do our best to honor his memory. And the best thing we can do to honor his memory is keep moving our organization forward and keep following in his footsteps with the groundwork that he's laid for us.
I know this might be a stupid question, but Chief Brooks has not been exited. It's not been gone that long from the fire department. But a lot has really changed. How is this a fire department that would be somewhat foreign to Chief Brooks? How much it changed over the last 5 or 6, 7, 10 years?
I think the big thing that you see is the influx of new hires, and generationally we're changing. We have a lot of younger members, which is great to see, and I think that's probably, as the faces change, the personalities change a little bit, but the commitment and what the actions that they take and that they do doesn't really change. That's the study of the fire department. I feel like, you look back the last 50 years, you see just the willingness and the willingness to go into dangerous situations and continue that work.
All right. Well, listen, Scott Ingresol, Chief Ingresol, we appreciate your time, and it is a sad day for the fire department, sad day for Utica.
Sure is. Thank you for having me on, and we'll give our condolences to Chief Brooks' family.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Chief Ingresol with the Utica Fire Department. It is interesting, though, when he says personalities change, so as new people come in, personality, it does seem like the younger generation, a lot of people will complain and say they're just sensitive. They're just they don't, this isn't funny to them. And I imagine that takes a little bit to get used to.
Yeah, and it is interesting too, and this is something that's maybe not even related to Chief Brooks so much as something that Chief Ingresol said is the two differences between the fire department and the police department. The one big difference, I should say, is the recruitment, where it's the Utica Fire Department seems to not have a huge problem getting people to want to join and become a member of the fire department.
It's in your family.
Yeah, where the Utica police are really struggling to find people to want to join up.
Well, and that is a problem nationwide, right?
Yes.
Did I go over it? No,
I'm changing your time.
Okay, because I'm going to come in a little earlier, just so you know.
Yep.
And Sarah's Flooring Outlet is the area's leading flooring store when it comes to flooring. They don't sell bikes. They don't sell grills. They sell flooring. And if you're looking for flooring, they have the absolute best inventory you're going to find anywhere. all sorts of products and new products as well that offer up that an incredible look that you just couldn't get years ago. It is truly the largest inventory in Central New York, and it's just down the street from us at the Route 49 Plaza right here on River Road. Pergo Extreme is a great example by Mohawk. They have the lowest price guarantee within a 60-mile radius. And Pergo Extreme is just a better product, a deeper protection, a deeper warranty. It's 100% dent-proof, worry-free for life, waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. And at Insera's, you get that 60-mile radius price guarantee. Pretty awesome. So if you're looking for flooring, there's only one place to go. It's Insera's Flooring Outlet at the Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy, or anytime, 24/7, online at inserasflooringoutlet.com.
Don't let the weather get you down. Shulman and Rosansky Family Dentistry reminds you that there is something to smile about. Spring is here, and summer is just around the corner.
I'm Dr. Andrew Rosansky, letting you know it's time to get that smile into perfect shape with the spring cleaning or veneers. You'll be smiling well into summer and beyond.
Get the smile that gets smiles at Shulman and Rosansky Family Dentistry, 1 Paris Road, New Hartford, and online at uticasmiles.com.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
If you're looking for flooring, boy, do I have the perfect place for you. This is Bill Keeler, and I highly recommend Insera's Flooring Outlet, the area's leading flooring store. They have the absolute largest inventory in Central New York, and it's a brand new store at the Route 49 Plaza in Marcy. And if you're looking for Pergo Extreme, they have a price guarantee anywhere in the area within a 60-mile radius of their store. It's a pretty awesome deal, and you know you're going to get the best deal at Insera's. Log on to their website at inserasflooringoutlet.com and sign up to save $50 off your next purchase of $500 or more. You can shop online or in the store. You will not find a better selection than Insera's Flooring Outlet. See why more people buy from the big store. Its selection, its price, and it's a 6-month interest-free financing. Log on to the website, inserasflooringoutlet.com, and see for yourself or visit their store. Insera's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road in Marcy.
Thinking of a purple mattress this Memorial Day? Mattress Express has the largest selection and save up to $800 on select purple sets. Take up to 60 months to pay with no money down for qualified buyers on $1,500 or higher purchases.
Replacing your roof isn't a decision you take lightly. You want industry standards met with affordable options and a crew who knows how important a sound roof is to you and your family. Dennis Padula & Sons Roofing is your hometown roofers with deep roots in our community. Padula Roofers specialize in residential roofing projects. They're a GAF certified master elite roofing contractor who keeps their standards above the rest. Call 315-733-1564 to find out more about their Roofs for Troops mail-in rebate. Dennis Padula & Sons Roofing, your hometown roofers.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
It's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough: our health. Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We're told these are normal signs of aging. So working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful anti-aging supplements on earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Hey, I want to tell you about Ricky Z and everybody over at Stepani Mazda. Commercial Drive in Yorkville, the Mazda sales event, the Move to Mazda sales event is back. Drive a new 2024 Mazda CX-30 Select Sport Model for only $275 a month or a 36-month lease. You could save with low APR financing, 0%, 1.9%, 2.9%, or 3.9% on select award-winning new 2024 Mazdas. See the dealership for details. As Ricky Z says, come on down if you need a better price. Let's make your deal on a new Mazda from the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction. It's Steet Pawnee Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. President Biden's expected to sign an order today turning away asylum seekers who cross the border illegally when, like now, that number hits 2,500 a day.
The scheduling comes a month after a group of 15 House Democrats wrote to President Biden asking him to take executive action and largely blaming Republicans for the lack of legislation to fix the immigration system. A recent Fox News poll said the southern border is the second most important issue for voters, with 69% of those polled saying they disapprove of the president's handling of it. He's set to make the announcement prior to traveling to Normandy with the First Lady to mark the 80th anniversary of the Allied landings there in 1944. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Opening statements are scheduled to start next hour at the president's son, Hunter Biden's federal trial in Delaware. He's accused of lying about his illegal drug use on a form to buy a handgun in 2018. Attorney General Merrick Garland testifies before the House Judiciary Committee today about Republican allegations the Justice Department has become politicized during his tenure. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is headed for a third 5-year term after a tighter-than-expected race in national elections.
Modi's BJP is leading the opposition India alliance in around 300 seats. It needs to win 272 to form a government. Over 10 years in power, Narendra Modi's Hindu nationalist stance has transformed Indian politics. His personal popularity is key to his party's success. The final result will take time to come in as officials check an expected 640 million ballot papers. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Milwaukee's school superintendent Keith Posley is resigning at the end of the month, accused of financial mismanagement. The state of Wisconsin's threatened to withhold funding over missing financial reports. Federal money for Head Start preschool programs has been revoked already over safety concerns. America's listening to Fox News.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
You know, since 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been committed to supporting our nation's first responders and veterans. They support America's heroes like U.S. Army Major Jonathan Turnbull. Now, Major Turnbull sustained devastating injuries at the hands of an ISIS suicide bomber. Tunnel to Towers gave him a specially adapted smart home designed for his needs. Join Tunnel to Towers. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month so this great work continues. Their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
At a campaign fundraiser in Connecticut, President Biden calls former President Trump unhinged, referring to him publicly for the first time as a convicted felon. A statement from the Trump campaign says the president's trying to draw attention away from his son Hunter's federal gun trial. It's primary day in several states.
Voters in Montana, South Dakota, New Mexico, and New Jersey are all voting in their state's presidential primaries. However, in South Dakota, Donald Trump's name won't be on the ballot as he's running unopposed. And in the District of Columbia, only Democrats are holding a presidential primary today. Republicans already cast ballots, with voting wrapping up March 3rd. And the D.C. GOP went for Nikki Haley. Before former President Trump was convicted in Manhattan of 34 felonies, Haley said she would be voting for him. Now, Haley's not on the ballot in South Dakota, New Jersey, or Montana, but she is on the ballot still in New Mexico. Voters in both parties can select no preference as a form of protest in New Mexico and Montana, and Democrats can do so in New Jersey. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Check on gas prices. About $3.52 a gallon on average nationwide, according to AAA. That's down 7 cents from a week ago, 14 cents lower than a month ago. Still, Americans are making more but feeling it less.
More Americans are making $400,000 now than before the pandemic, but many voters still have negative perceptions about President Biden's economy. That, according to census data compiled by the Economic Innovation Group. Part of the problem is, thanks to inflation, the salaries people are enjoying don't bring the same amount of purchasing power. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen will be quizzed on our economic disparities on Capitol Hill today. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
American U.S. Open champion Coco Gauff advances to the semifinals at the French Open tennis tournament. She lost in the final last year to Iga Swiatek. She is ahead in her quarterfinal match being played now. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 News Time, 8:05. I'm Andrew Dominio. Right now, we're getting up into the mid to upper 60s, specifically 67 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. This update brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Former Utica Fire Chief Russ Brooks has passed away. He dedicated 43 years of his life to service of the Utica Fire Department, and he also spent several years being active in trying to bring about the... Help me out here. Sorry.
He was extremely
very active in trying to...
He was enormous when it came to community service.
Bringing awareness to the plight of cancers.
He was the head of the...
In 9/11 and others.
Of the food pantry. And he really worked hard in his retirement to really bring to the forefront the fact that firefighters not only put their lives on the line every day, but they put their health and their bodies on the line by breathing in toxic chemicals, fire after fire after fire. The chances of a firefighter contracting cancer are elevated. There's a risk, and he really spent the end of his time really promoting that, and I think that was
fighting for those who
important.
Needed the help to get
yes
retribution and medical attention with that. So, sorry about that. Thanks for the backup there, Bill.
I'm always here.
I appreciate that. A Utica man was arrested after allegedly pointing a gun at and threatening another man on Oriskany Street. Utica police say they were called to the area shortly before 3 p.m. Saturday for a fight between two motorists. The victim said they pulled into a parking lot, and the suspect, identified as 44-year-old Stephen Zangrilli, followed him into the lot. Another interaction took place, and Zangrilli allegedly pointed a handgun at the victim before getting into his vehicle and fleeing. Police located the car, found a replica handgun in the vehicle. Zangrilli was charged with second-degree menacing and criminal possession of a weapon in the third degree. Utica police arrested a man that allegedly stole money from numerous victims in a fraudulent check scheme. According to police, 27-year-old Charles Randall would approach victims at a walk-up teller or ATM and ask them to deposit a check for him and withdraw the funds matching the deposit. The victim would then be notified days later by their bank that the check was fraudulent and the money would be deducted from their account. Randall allegedly did this through Central and Western New York. He was apprehended by the Rochester Police Department and faces charges for grand larceny, scheme to defraud, and criminal possession of a forged instrument. Additional charges are expected as more arrests in connection with the thefts. And a Boonville man involved in a weekend crash in Lewis County now faces DWI charges. According to the Lewis County Sheriff's Office, 34-year-old Kyle Williams was traveling south on Route 12 in Lowville when his vehicle exited the roadway and struck a guardrail. Police responding to the scene said Williams appeared intoxicated and conducted field sobriety tests, all of which Williams failed. He was charged with DWI and released on an appearance ticket due in town of Lowville Court. It is 8:08. Your weather forecast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor, the leader in service. Visit clintontractor.net.
Here's the latest from the WIBX Weather Center. Today, partly cloudy, high 85. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 65. Tomorrow, more sun, partly cloudy, high 85. That's the latest. I'm by Johnson for WIBX 950. and 92.3 FM.
67 right now under cloudy skies. It is 8:09. Sports brought to you by IBEW NECA 43 local contractors. Well, the New York Giants may be parting ways with a veteran. According to ESPN, Darren Waller will make a decision about his playing future by next week's mandatory minicamp, but the expectation around the team is that he will retire. New York would save $11.9 million on the cap this year if he is made to be cut June 1st. The G-men have around $1.6 million available in cap space. The Mets managed to hold on for an 8-7 win over the Nationals in their series opener from D.C. Tyler McGill was credited with the victory after striking out 4 and allowing 5 runs, 4 of them earned, over 5 innings. New York is 4th in the NL East at 25-35 and will continue their claw their way back towards 500 as their 3-game set continues tonight at Nationals Park. The Yankees will be looking to extend their winning streak to 6 games after a break, traveling from the West Coast to the East Coast as they'll begin a homestand against the Twins tonight at Yankee Stadium. Right-hander Luis Gil is slated to make his 12th start of the season. He enters at 7-1 with a 1.99 ERA and 79 strikeouts over 63-plus innings. He is having an excellent rookie season. The Bronx Bombers are currently leading the AL East at 42-19. And Major League Baseball is investigating a San Diego Padres player for betting on games while with a different team. Padres infielder Tucupita Marcano, who hasn't played in the majors since an injury in July of last year, is now being investigated for betting on games when he was with the Pirates. The Wall Street Journal says Major League Baseball could potentially ban Marcano for life for betting on Pirates games while he played for the team last year. He was originally signed by the Padres and traded to Pittsburgh in 2021 before being claimed off waivers in November while injured. And this is a crazy story that not a lot of people outside of the sports world have really been following, but the Chicago Sky are hoping to learn from a recent incident during a home game on Saturday. That's according to coach Teresa Weatherspoon, who told the media that Shenedy Carter got caught up in a physical game after she shoulder-checked Indiana's Caitlin Clark. The first overall pick was knocked down and a common foul was assessed, but the WNBA upgraded it to a flagrant the next day. The Fever held on for a 71-70 victory. Indy coach Christy Sides said they went through the same thing last year with the 2023 top pick, Aaliyah Boston. So there's a lot of people that are...
So they're saying that she's getting special treatment.
A lot of people are saying is that she's getting retaliated against by other players in the league. She's a target because she just signed a $23 million deal with Nike, making her probably the highest paid player in the WNBA as far as sponsorships go. A lot of people are saying, a lot of people are trying to involve race in this discussion about things. I'm not all really in tune to it, so I won't say much more about that.
Well, I got to tell you something. As crazy as this seems, it's so good for the WNBA because it has people talking about it.
Yes.
It's in the news. It's on every program today. And it's kind of what you get in a men's sport, right?
Yeah.
So I think that while it's bad, it is good. Davey, you completely agree with me, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. This weekend, Richard is reporting it looks like we're gonna get another spell of rain, and it looks pretty rainy for the Belmont.
Richard.
The Belmont Stakes.
And it's also Boxing Hall of Fame this weekend, too.
Boxing Hall of Fame this weekend. There'll be a fight
on
at the Turning Stone. There'll be in Herkimer County. It's all happening there. And that includes the world's largest yard sale,
Awesome
which is going on this weekend. So on Saturday, it starts at 8 a.m. They'll start letting people in. They'll be lined up out there. You got to get in. You got to get in early. As I say to my wife's philosophy is, the key to a good yard sale is going late because people don't want to take the stuff home. You get a deal. There's a reality to that. But I kind of like going early because that's when you get the really cool stuff. Otherwise, the cool stuff has all been bought up.
You got to get there early.
The world's largest yard sale comes on Saturday at the Herkimer County Fairgrounds. Check it out. You can explore Herkimer diamonds, savor the taste of Herkimer cheese. Coming up, the Dolgeville Violet Festival is happening on June 8th till 9th.
That's always big.
Mondays.
This weekend.
It is. Mondays, the Herkimer Downtown Chowdown is underway. That's food truck season. Wednesdays, Ilian's food truck is in Ilian. And then Fridays, Heel Path Brewery in Frankfort. All these things happening because if it's happening, you almost just know automatically. It's happening in Herkimer County. Coming up, yesterday we spoke, this whole pride flag not flying over City Hall has turned into a big issue. And it may be that people aren't completely being, well, maybe
they're
not,
withholding the truth.
Maybe they're not lying, but they're not telling everything, not telling the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And we'll get to that coming up. Hold on. Mayor Galimi, along with his chief of staff, Mike Gentile, coming in studio next on WIBX.
Everybody thinks when you buy new windows, you just rip the old one out, stick the new one in, and voila, you're done. Nope, not the case at all. Scott and Jill here from New York Sash.
The truth is, over 50% of the time, the window frame that you pulled that old window out of has all kinds of problems, and it needs to be repaired at a minimum, and a lot of times, completely replaced.
If you just stick a beautiful new window in an old, messed up frame, you're asking for problems.
And guess what? Most of the companies just use the old rip and stick method. It's easier, faster, and cheaper.
At New York Sash, we carefully inspect the frame for rot, bug damage, messed up trim, and fix it or replace it.
Hey, do it right or don't do it at all.
Call New York Sash now and get 15% off windows, doors, or bathrooms. 315-624-7344 or online at newyorksash.com. That's newyorksash.com.
Country is coming back to the Stanley Theater. Thursday, June 20th. Don't miss Rodney Atkins.
These are my people.
Kick off summer with Rodney Atkins, June 20th at the Stanley Theater. Tickets are on sale now. Rodney Atkins, June 20th, 7:30 p.m. at the Stanley Theater. Get your tickets now at the Stanley Theater box office or online at thestanley.org or Ticketmaster.com.
Caught up in a country.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton of Hilton Estate and Elder Law with important information for families that have disabled children to protect the child and to ensure your future wishes are met. So if you have a disabled child, you need to provide them with what's called a special needs trust. This trust allows them to receive an inheritance from you, but also allows them to keep any governmental benefits that they are receiving. It is critically important that if they have an inheritance coming, that they not lose their benefits. Unmarried couples should be aware of important steps they need to take with their estate planning. If a partner dies and does not leave a will, the surviving partner will not likely receive any of the assets from the deceased partner. This can create a lot of problems in the future and must be resolved utilizing a will or a trust. To find out more about strategies to protect your loved ones through proper estate planning, contact us at Hilton Estate and Elder Law. Call for more information and to schedule an in-person meeting to answer your questions.
Hilton, you know the name, they know the law. Hilton Estate and Elder Law.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Is credit card debt weighing you down? Are you losing sleep at night, worrying about how much you owe? Have you ever used one credit card to pay off another credit card, just prolonging the problem? You're not alone. Half of all Americans are dealing with troubling credit card debt. But there is an answer. Zero Debt USA has proven strategies to eliminate that troubling credit card interest and get you out of debt fast. They can often get your monthly payment down to less than half of what you're currently paying. Work with a company that can help. Visit ZeroDebtUSA.com. Again, ZeroDebtUSA.com.
Aches and pains aren't trophies. They're just barriers keeping pros like you from getting the work done. You know this business can be backbreaking. All the more reason to partner with someone who has your back, like Clinton Tractor and Ferris Commercial Mowers. Ferris is about helping you finish strong and feel good doing it, with patented suspension technology that allows you to mow faster and get more work done in comfort so you can feel good tomorrow. Visit Clinton Tractor today or at clintontractor.net. Ferris, work hard, feel good.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I'm always worrying.
I do want to take a call just quickly, and then we'll get to the mayor here. John is in Bridgewater. Hey, John. Good morning. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hey, Bill. Good morning. Hey, my condolences go out to the Chief Brooks family and the fire department family. My nephew Trevor, good enough, went through training under Chief Brooks, and he took Trevor under his wings. And Trevor's an awesome fireman, along with all the other men and women of the Utica Fire Department. He's awesome. He's going to be missed.
Well, there's no doubt, right? And it was, it really was a different era of the fire department.
Well, when I saw him at the handing the food out, just in the beginning, I think when he wasn't feeling well, but he was an awesome guy. He volunteered a lot, but I got to tell it real quick.
All right.
The first time I ever met him was at the Ramada Inn. His fireman friends, my nephew, put a stag party on for him at the Ramada. No dancers, just food and beer.
Yeah.
My nephew only lasted
dancers.
45 minutes. They were drinking shots.
Yeah.
And to this day, my nephew has never touched a drink since
Wow.
then. So thanks for that.
Awesome.
So,
all right, that's pretty good.
So that's my story, and, condolences, man, to
all right.
the family.
Thanks,
So,
John.
Thanks,
Okay.
Bill.
All right. Mayor Galimi, I'm assuming you have comments about Chief Brooks. Good morning.
Yes. I know we're here for kind of the standard Utica news cycle, if you will, from yesterday's interviews. But before we said anything today, I was going to say that not only did myself and the current chief, Ingresol, put together a coordinated press release with our comments and thoughts on Chief Brooks, but we're all taken back by his passing. While we all knew he was ill towards the end, when you get to that final moment, you start to reflect on, the person you knew and the contributions that person made, and it's just so substantial that the community has lost somebody who truly made a difference over the years.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Okay, so let's get to the garbage.
All right.
Okay. So first of all, let us start with the flag. Whatever flag is able to fly over City Hall. What is the policy? We've been told there is no written policy. And by the way, also Mike Gentile. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in. So, what's the story?
So, one, there's no legislated policy. Okay. There is a written form, which I've been referring to as the policy. I know the chief of staff here, Mike Gentile, did send you the form he had on his phone, which was all 4 options from the previous administration. And not only is it written down, but we, when we came in January, opted to remove all the discretion from these, quote, requests and just state that if someone comes to fill out a form, it's option 1 and 3, which, as I've iterated through a host of times on multiple media stations, and in this one multiple times, it's the city flag, the state flag, and the flags recognized by the U.S. government.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think
it is written down, though?
It is written down.
It was released. It was shared with the press. It was also given to Oneida County Pride. So they had that as well.
So you're talking about Ace, right? She was on yesterday.
Yes.
She, although she did say that she does not feel that you are homophobic.
Okay.
She, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but it really left us to believe that what really happened, I mean, more happened than what she let on to.
Mm-hmm.
You were involved in more, and explain that if you could. It's where I think you took issue yesterday.
Yeah, so, I mean, before we get into any of this, I want to point out two things. One thing from former councilperson Celeste's interview, and another thing specifically from Ace Morreale's interview. The first thing with former councilperson Celeste's interview, towards the end of the interview, you had asked her, I think Andrew asked her, about the city hall lights being lit up. And then she went into stating that I didn't include Ace in the decisions, that I had private conversations with other people and set meetings with other people, and I worked with them to come up with these ideas. So across the board, the interview yesterday with Celeste was very similar to what I had dealt with throughout the campaign and Celeste as a council person. Almost every single thing she stated wasn't based on reality. Seriously, it was like she was making it up as she went along, either speaking just out of not knowing or trying to sow some misinformation. I don't know, but the first group we met with, on any of this was Oneida County Pride. We sat down for quite some time. All of the things that I did do.
Did Oneida County Pride come first, or did the Catholic Charities come first?
Catholic Charities came first. I'm talking about in this particular situation, right?
All right.
But then, the chronological order, the fact that no one told me to light up City Hall. No one told me to write a proclamation and do all that. That was all long before the controversy even started, that I was going to the Pride event. I was presenting a proclamation. I was welcoming the Pride community at that event and in the city, and that these things were truly planned by me and the administration and orchestrated by
How
the
many other
administration.
council members or other political or elected officials were at the Pride event in addition to yourself?
I wasn't there the whole time. I did see the governor's office when I was on my way out, which interestingly enough, they were surprised to see me because they were told they weren't sure if I was coming.
Okay.
Which that was kind of offed by that as well. But, the second thing, Ace's interview. And I listened to these interviews yesterday multiple times because I just couldn't believe what was being said. You had asked her about the, my interaction, et cetera. And then she went on to talk about the fact that she expected me and my office to do more, to offer more, et cetera. And then she went on to talk about the Pride event, that there were over 90 vendors and, it was a great event. Well, so it was on your the competing radio station, but the days before the event, I was personally promoting the event, telling people to go to it. Mm-hmm. I was at the event and spoke and read a proclamation I wrote myself personally, and then took a photo with Ace presenting that proclamation to her. And just, I truly was involved in this, and
You feel that was conveniently left out?
You know what? Unfortunately, for the past 3 months, since all this has been kind of percolating, I've been avoiding saying that. But at this point, I have to say it seems quite convenient, and it bothers me because if you want to go after what you think is wrong, fine, great. But don't just ignore the fact that I was truly there. Come on.
Right.
And then tell people that, we're still waiting on, more conversations when we had a really meaningful conversation, which I'll let the chief of staff get into that one. We sat down for over an hour, in which case across the board, we talked about the organization, like how did you start, a couple years old, this and that. Are you a 501 yet? No. We talked about the fact that we have a lot of contacts that help people become 501s. We offered that help. I asked if they wanted to do a coordinated event in Hanna Park where we would drape the Pride flag truly across the stage in Hanna Park. We could be together. We had a great conversation. Again, none of that seems to have made it out publicly. And it's just, it's interesting because I'm the square peg that doesn't fit in one round hole. I feel like, I truly on my own accord I was already doing things. Even though the flag policy thing was controversial, I get that. I've talked about that multiple times, but there was so many other things that I had already planned. And, you have people on who could speak really well and form great sentences, but seemingly did not represent the truth of what was going on.
Mike, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, so there's one of the other things that seemed to be frustration with when they initially put in the flag request to when we finally had a response. And sometime, I'm not really sure, why that timeline existed that way. But when she was there and requested to speak with the mayor's office, I immediately went down. We immediately explained, why we weren't going to do the flag raising, but talked about other options. One of those options was still doing an event at City Hall, doing a proclamation, using the stage at City Hall to display the flag and stuff like that.
So this is literally just an issue of putting the flag on the town or the City Hall flagpole,
on the flagpole,
where the American flag is, where the city
where the city flag is, taking the city flag down and putting the other flag.
Well, it's an all or nothing. So if you don't do that, then you're not.
And so a meeting was offered at that point. She left. She went back to the rest of her board and had a conversation, and then said, yes, we would like to have a meeting. We scheduled a meeting within a couple weeks. At that meeting, we
scheduled a meeting that would take place in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
we didn't take a couple weeks to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we left that feeling pretty good. There was still a disappointment about not going up on the flagpole, but we said the mayor would be at the event. We weren't sure about time because it was a 6-hour event, and we had to. She communicated a few days before the event, just asking to make sure the mayor's still going to be there, and we coordinated the time. We did a media release.
She really didn't disclose that yesterday.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a lot of distance between your administration and her, other than one meeting that happened one time, and that was it.
Well, here's the thing. We did have one long meeting, right? Which is commensurate with all of the other groups. Literally at this point, probably, I'm not going to say hundreds, right? But probably 30 or 40 groups in the community as a new administration that we've sat down with. And not only did we talk with them, but Mike, it was such a good, a meeting in which case we shared back and forth so much on what we could do together.
Did this all come before the announcement came that the flag would not be flying, or did the meeting come afterwards?
Well, the meeting was part of that. Mike just described that.
Right. And the meeting really came after we met at City Hall, and I explained that we weren't going to do it that way, but wanted to work together on other ways that we can communicate. And then the other thing I just say,
and the options are open for that.
With every decision, we're going to talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
We're going to have people that agree. We're going to have people that disagree, but we're going to take on every bit of information and use that to make decisions moving forward.
Right.
So
why not?
The idea of her being cut out is, well,
I didn't even get into that.
Organizations that are also passionate about that deserve to have a voice in
it.
None of that happened. The fact that Celeste said we cut Ace out, we didn't have her included in decisions.
Yeah.
That other meeting Celeste was referring to was like an hors d'oeuvre cocktail get-together that I was invited to by my friends who wanted to talk about this, who happen to be gay. Okay, so I don't know how Celeste knows about that or was told about it or what have you, but total mischaracterization.
That was not a meeting you organized or an event that you planned. It was a separate event somebody else put on that you were invited to.
Well, you call it an event like it's some situation.
Right,
like
it was
the
just
insinuation was that
They
like and both Celeste and he said this, that I should have like included them in this. That I don't even know how to speak to that. It's such a it was in the evening and like we were talking about all this and we got together to talk about this, right? But it wasn't like some
official
meeting. I mean, I'm the mayor.
It would have been like if Bill invited me to dinner and I said, I want to invite somebody else.
It wasn't scheduled through the mayor's office. There was no community. I mean, it was a
It was people I knew,
dinner.
Okay.
and they did specifically want to talk to me about this situation. Absolutely,
Let me-
but like to say I caught Ace out, and also to insinuate that like we devised this plan during that meeting to light up City Hall.
Okay.
None of that is accurate.
Let me ask you, why not just follow the? Apparently, in Boston, they have been given a way to be able to do this and to deny some and accept others. I haven't been able to find that exactly, but that's what we've been told. And the other thing is, Syracuse was somewhat critical of Utica.
Syracuse's auditor was.
Yes.
I didn't specifically hear Ben Walsh speak on it.
Why not just follow the policy that pick up a policy that other municipalities have already vetted?
So one, that is what we did. Okay.
Okay.
Now two, when this all started in January, I didn't come in here waving some decision that happened in Boston in City Hall and say, we need to change this because of this. I came in with a plan to remove mayoral discretion from flag raising requests, which I found very inappropriate. And going through that, we started reading about this more, and we're like, oh, this happened in Boston.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, there is a thing, and Mike can speak to this too, there's government speech, but then there's also legislative acts that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we shouldn't necessarily have to be boxed in and do exactly what Boston did. We're not Boston. This is a free country where governments can do different things. Two, many municipalities around us just have a flag policy where they have their flag, the U.S. flag, and then like a couple other recognized flags, and that's also executive and
I
administrative.
think that's basically what the county does.
Right. And then the other piece of this is, what Boston ended up doing was their council went through and again decided which flags they're going to put up and not put up. And I've iterated through this on your station, 2 different media outlets. I strongly believe that personally, someone acting as mayor separately, number 2, and the government should not be involved in picking and choosing who belongs and doesn't belong, because times change, things change. I'm trying to take the discretion out of it so that it's not a constant churn of political footballs.
What if somebody comes and asks for the Iranian flag or the Chinese flag or the Russian flag?
Right now, one, if it's a country recognized by the U.S.
You'll
government,
fly it.
And there's a group of people, say, from the center, who have come here through strife in those countries, and they're refugees and come from their war-torn nations.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
So let me ask you
that's
this.
That's why I left that in there. Specifically that.
But could you say no? So if it's
not the way I set it up. No. I said I want no discretion on this.
So if I disagree with, for a good example is, I support Hamas. Take that and isolate that clip and keep playing it over.
Okay.
Oh,
I will. You just literally broke the cardinal rule. You made a soundbite that is so usable.
So let's say I'm a person who supports Hamas, and I say I want the the Palestinian flag or Gaza, whatever, an anti-Jewish. And it's a state. I mean, these are.
Well, so here's the thing.
States are recognized.
Are you
state.
raising? Are you raising a flag?
But my reasoning is because I am against what Israel is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm Iranian and I want to have an Iranian flag, and what that means to me symbolically is
death to America.
I am. Yes.
So
how do you handle that?
This is we talked about this. This is what we talked about actually in January. This was the subject matter. How do we deal with this? Because in January, the Israeli-Palestinian tensions were, both at a height and also in the media.
I think they're right there right now.
Right. Yeah. Well, they still are. The media is just, off talking about trials now instead of people getting murdered, right? So if you are here and you are from that country and you wanted to raise that flag to celebrate the culture and the national, the actual national flag that you came here with, not celebrating the war and all that stuff. But you read the policy, number 1 and 3, if it's a flag recognized by the U.S. government, no discretion. If you fill the form out, you can do it.
So I'm going to tell you that it's because I love my country, my former country. But as soon as you hang that flag, I'm going to be running around like, kill the Jews, kill Israel, death to Israel.
And that is
First
Amendment.
More sound bites.
So here's the thing.
I just think it's opening up an interesting can of worms.
It is. Now, if you remember the morning after this all erupted, I was on your show saying, unfortunately, I feel like if people continue to push this issue and try and align identity politic groups or rights movements with flags of countries, and they really make their case, then we'll just be like a lot of the other municipalities and be like, here's the U.S. flag, here's the city flag. But here's the thing,
that's
though.
Probably what you should do.
Well, so here's the thing. Yeah, you could say that, but then you look at the context of our country right now. Utica has something really unique with the center. Okay, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, ORR works with the center in Utica through the refugee populations. Okay, and it's not a celebration of culture, if you will. It's the origins you were removed from through refugee strife and peril. Okay, when I said, listen, we got to clear up this discretion thing, remove discretion, you have to find a line that you can draw. And there was an absolutely defined line between countries and other things that aren't countries. So we drew the line. Went with it.
All right. Change topic. Quickly.
I've got a couple lightning rounds and then I know we're
very fast because I've got Tim Julian coming in.
You're good.
I somehow this became me attacking Katie Aiello over that alleyway.
Right.
If you look at what the alleyway used to look like, it needed to be upgraded. It needed a fresh coat of paint. But it was a safe floor. It was a concrete floor. There were light lamps, old-fashioned lamps. There were art shows that went on there. There was yoga that was happening there. It fit the area. This thing looks like it came out of I don't want to insult anybody, but this looks stupid, in my opinion.
Well, I found it very interesting that your guest yesterday, Celeste,
they think it's beautiful,
but didn't know what it was before.
Did not know what it was before. You're
when
right.
You were
that
explaining what it was like.
There were lights in there. Yeah, there were lights in there.
It was desert island.
It almost took away the quaintness of Franklin Square. So.
Well, there's a subjective element to it.
I understand. Some people don't have taste.
You asked about the attacking.
Okay.
The attacking. No, so when I saw the post that you were, that kind of like insinuated you were attacking Katie, I was like, let me go read the article. Because, things can be misconstrued.
Sure.
And you wrote an opinion piece based on Nancy and me on the radio, I think a day or two prior, talking about it.
It was clearly my opinion.
And it was your opinion. The headline definitely said mayor, but it was your opinion.
Well, you did. I used
that's fine.
Your quote.
But my point is, when I read it, I didn't see any attack. It was your opinion based on what people have been saying to you about that.
Well, and my
people have a right to that opinion.
Personal vision of it, it looks stupid. I just think it looks awful.
And here's the other problem.
Personal opinion has nothing to do with Katie
Money
Aiello.
was spent to complete a project there. And again, at the time she was the council person, Celeste was on the radio yesterday and started to refer to it. Oh, well, now it's a work in progress. Well, that's been my problem with all of the ARPA projects, by the way. That's why most of them were in the red. That's why most of them weren't fully planned because they were all works in progress.
God willing, you end up with some gigantic amount of money thrown at you again
from a magical being of some kind.
Will you just say $200 for you, $200 for you, $200 without any oversight?
No.
Okay, I figured that would be the answer.
All right, really quick. Do you have anything else?
Quickly, fast.
So we've got Wayne saying that, can you tell the mayor we need new pitching machines for minor leagues and some of the equipment is blank and how the upkeep of the dugouts are ignored, filthy. How is the $38,000 for the leagues being spent?
$38,000? What's that?
So,
well, that's just what Wayne. I don't know.
I love when these things come in from the game of telephone.
Is not money that was given to the city of Utica. That was money that was given to Utica Little League specifically. There are plans for a lot of standard upgrades and upkeep.
This is all a good example of why we opened up new parks and created new things to be maintained when we're not able to maintain the stuff that we currently have.
Well, so let's be clear about something with Utica Little League too, though. Specific to those pitching machines, I was a minor A coach last year. I had to use every single one of those machines, all of them. They all pitched great. They're all intact. They all work.
Okay. All right. Next.
So, yeah.
And then Lance and Lee, my question and statement for the dynamic duo in studio. I was told that an employee of Codes was caught conducting illegal activities and arrested for it within the last few months. Supposedly, the employee was also a relative of the department head. Secondly, maybe the chief of staff should save his bad jokes for times other than council meetings. Maybe he's never heard of wrong time, wrong place.
Cool. Yes, someone was involved in that, and that person is not working for Codes right now.
Oh, so we'll just leave it at that was arrested?
Well, so we're aware of it because we are an employer. Okay, so we were
What was
informed.
the arrest? What was the arrest?
I'm trying to think what
The charge?
The
I don't
arrest.
know. Lance is not saying it, and it's just he's saying something was illegal. So
well, let the mayor
I
answer.
requested the information based on an employer, based on the report of it. I'm trying to think what I could actually say about that. What was actually public, because the arrest happened. I'll just say it was during work hours while the person was driving a city vehicle and in uniform of Codes, and my administration acted swiftly, and the person no longer works for Codes anymore.
Okay.
That's what I'll state about that right now.
All right. Anything else?
I think we're good for now.
Okay, gentlemen, you want to add something?
You want to add something, Mike?
Yeah, I would. All right. I just think it's very important to understand, with any decision making, and there's no one person or no one idea that's going to be ultimately true. And, this administration, the mayor, myself, and anybody we interact with, we're looking for the most compassionate way to move forward within the law, within what we're able to work with. And so for anybody that is sitting there and, felt hurt by not raising the flag, we're sorry, but it wasn't done out of an interaction of wanting to prove a point against you in any way.
Right.
And that's why we looked for other ways to still honor, what you've been going through.
I do think this is all a lot to do about not very much at the end of the day, because you're still doing honoring and celebrations. All of this while you have an ugly park that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
I mean, to me,
true.
These are things to deal with.
No,
add something?
Yeah, just in closing, we went to great lengths to work with Oneida County Pride, and we did. And
we'll
I was hoping,
to.
and we will continue to, and the whole idea, the reason we met, the reason we sat down for over an hour in my office personally with them was to cultivate ideas that we could do something together during this month. And we had our hand out, our arms open, and wanted to work with them. And I did. And not only was it not discussed, it was hidden.
All right.
So, and yesterday's interview unfortunately proved that to me. And I didn't want to say it out loud, but that is the case. And I have a problem with that. Because
they left stuff out.
It left big stuff out.
Mayor Galimi, thank you. Mike Gentile, thank you.
Absolutely.
Guys, have a great day.
Thank you.
Appreciate you clearing it up. Tim Julian, coming right up next.
We're here for you when that tree falls on your garage.
Uh-oh.
Or when that small roof leak turns into something bigger.
Uh-oh.
For all the uh-ohs in life, call the Frigo Agency. Life is complicated, and everyone's needs are different. When you sit down with the Frigo Agency, you're dealing with local people who understand your needs. So for all of life's uh-ohs, you need the Frigo Agency on Clinton Road in New Hartford. Get started today at uticaroaminsurance.com.
Easy Cater. 100,000 restaurants, one platform. Whether you need food for catered meetings or company events, Easy Cater has everything to make food for work, work. Seriously, it's all right here in one place. Coffee, snacks, breakfast, daily employee lunches, you name it. Whether you run a nonprofit or a company with offices nationwide, we've got you covered. Anywhere work happens, Easy Cater has everything you need to make food for work, work. Order 24/7 at easycater.com.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA contractors, we are pleased to partner with Syracuse University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Syracuse University's partnership with the IBEW will provide talented students the opportunity to advance their careers while shaping the future of the electrical trades and the industries they serve.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
The Utica Center for Development wants you to join the City of Utica's Independence Day Parade, sponsored by Mastrovito Hyundai. Register for the parade, have fun, build a float, or just walk and show community support on July 4th. To register for the parade or to be a vendor for the 4th of July party in the park, sign up today at ucdevelopment.org. The City of Utica parades are brought to you by the Utica Center for Development, Mastrovito Hyundai, Bank of Utica, and Save the Day Foundation.
We're experts in our field. We're called a Rude Pro Partner for a reason. For outstanding service, knowledgeable technicians, and dependable home comfort, contact Tri-County Heating and Air Conditioning for all of your heating and cooling home needs. Call 315-829-4100 or check us out on Facebook or our website, tri-countyheating.com. Ensure your home stays cool when it gets too hot out by scheduling a system maintenance tune-up with Tri-County Heating and Air Conditioning. Offer expires June 15th.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
WIBX. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, I want to tell you portions of the radio program brought to you by Fred F. Collis & Sons Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. It happened yesterday. Had to turn the air conditioning on. I can't, you just can't live with it, for God's sakes. Is your air conditioner ready? Is it efficient? And are there places where you're losing money? Fred F. Collis & Sons will come in and do a free energy audit of your home. It's a free home energy assessment. They'll walk through the most important parts of your home and actually dig into the construction of your home, et cetera, and they'll give you a full report on where you can save money. There are people that have had equipment installed, new furnaces installed, absolutely of no charge, insulation installed, no charge, all part of a government program, and Collis has all of that information for you. You can visit them online, fredfcollis.com, or visit them, Yorkville, Rome, Syracuse, at 315-860-1301. Fred F. Collis & Sons Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. And as you're sitting there, former Mayor Tim Julian, and you're watching the bullets that Mike Galimi is kind of trying to dodge,
yeah,
brings back some memories, right?
Oh, sure it does. Sure it does. I didn't realize, by the way, that was Bring Your Child to Work Day. I see Mike had Mike Galimi with him. So yeah, nice.
That's funny.
I was telling Andrew, too, by the way, I love what you've done to the place. A little contact paper, new 2x4s. Looks good.
It is.
Looks good here.
A few lights that blink, and, it's all new. All right. What is your take on all of this? I mean, did you have a policy of...
I don't believe we had a policy. Everything went through the clerk's office at the time.
Yeah,
it wasn't the mayor's office. It was actually the city clerk's office that was responsible for the flag-raising ceremonies and things such as that nature there. I do remember that I think the biggest controversy we had is October was both Polish History Month and Italian History Month.
Oh,
so
boy.
one day we'd be raising the Polish flag, and the next day we'd be pulling that down to raise the Italian flag, and we'd be back, what do we keep up?
Yeah.
So we had another flagpole installed, and we had one on each side of the stage there going on. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it just things like that. It's the minutia that catches up with you and really kind of...
when all of a sudden you're dealing with something that probably isn't very... I mean, at the end of the day, you're still proclamations. There's still, there's still stuff going on.
Look, there's a lot of things, and I think the majority of the people who live in the city, it's not that important to them.
Right.
It's not that important to them.
Yeah.
Ed Hanna used to say, and God forbid I invoke that name, but Ed Hanna used to say, pick up their garbage, plow their snow, don't raise their taxes, you'll be mayor forever.
Yeah.
Those three things. He goes, that's all you got to worry about, those three things. So, speaking of Ed Hanna, to invoke that, it kind of brings me back, sad day in Utica history yesterday with the passing of Chief Russ Brooks. An icon, really, a giant in the history of the city of Utica, in my opinion. Certainly someone who was a huge
bigger than life.
Absolutely bigger than life. And would have been chief a lot longer had he not bucked Ed Hanna, basically, through the years. He was in line to be chief, and he wouldn't. He kissed the ring of Ed Hanna, and Ed Hanna looked at the next guy in line, Frank Meza, and said, "Okay, you're the chief," and that was it. And then Frank Meza was made the chief.
So he would have been chief much earlier.
He would have been chief much earlier. But in retrospect, it was my honor to install him as chief. So I for my opinion, it was great because I was able to put a guy there who was really forward thinking. Got
the ambulance service came out of his
ambulance service was one of my things. The academy, the fire academy, training people from all across the state and the region. The fire grounds, just numerous things. And he was he was a gentleman. He was a politician. If he was your friend, the most loyal friend you could have, that's for sure. And I was very fortunate to consider him a friend of mine.
I got to say, as mayor, one of the things that people are saying that I'm attacking Katie Aiello over this alleyway thing.
Have you been to that alleyway?
I haven't seen it. I have to see it now. I did witness a guy showering in the fountain last Sunday though. 4 in the afternoon.
Well, he left his clothes behind, by the way.
Picture your son's kindergarten art project.
Yeah. The reality though is that where this all, I hate to be, hating on the former mayor, but when you just hand these $200,000 out to each council person and it goes unchecked,
the island.
This is the crap. The island,
the South Utica Island, for example.
South Utica.
We're going to sit there and debate that till the cows come home on that. And here's the other thing too. You are in public office. If you do not feel as though you're going to get jabbed at, you're not in the right business.
That is true.
You toughen up.
Yep.
You did something. You own it.
Right.
You own it. Period.
You'd be better off saying the vision we had is not what the contractor did. It needs work.
Or even a little mea culpa. Hey, perhaps we should have spoken to the neighbors.
Correct.
Right. I mean, and
is
we
this
went
just a Mark Williamson
we went
issue?
No, I don't think it's a Mark Williamson issue. I think because Mark Williamson's relatives are not as greatly impacted as other people on that street. First off, it's look, don't go down this path. I gotta, I think we should put a bar on it. Frankly, put a bar on it because someone's going to be driving home one night and they're going to take that thing out and they're going to have a car up there and not going to be able to move it. May as well have a few drinks. But I don't think it's a Mark Williamson issue. I think it's an issue of, the way it's laid out. It's a sidewalk to nowhere. Perhaps the Boilermaker will go around that a few times.
Everybody that has seen it that I know has a problem with it.
It's just strange. There's probably more traffic control devices on that island than most other places in the city. Most intersections in the city don't have that many traffic control devices on to keep people from hitting it, running it. The sidewalk is not handicapped accessible, so as far as that goes, there's no sidewalks leading to that sidewalk. The sidewalks on both sides essentially
I'm going to do laps
round the turn, and they do not terminate out onto the street. So it really is just a bizarre piece of structure there. And again, I think if you look at handing out the money to someone is a good idea because it gets a council person involved in the process. However,
oversight
to have it unchecked as was unchecked, number one. Number two, the amount of money, we're going to go down that path of the amount of money that was literally $66 million. My God, my budgets weren't $66 million for the entire year for the city of Utica. And what do we show for it? The only thing we talk about that we showed for it is this art project that you're talking about right now and this island. I don't think, and they talked about the dog parks. That's like, really one of those.
Meanwhile, what we really are talking about is parks that aren't being kept.
That's a big problem. And I had a disagreement with the former mayor in front of St. Elizabeth's Hospital at the 4th of July parade when he was still in office, and I pointed to St. Elizabeth's. I said, look at this mess behind you that we're going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
This would be a great use of some of this ARPA money. Let's take this, buy it, and tear this thing down and get this parcel back, which would have been terrific, because the big holdup on a lot of this that they're talking about in creating some sort of a development there is getting that building down, because it's going to be costly. This could have paid for that, and we could have had something that he goes, well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about sustainability. Let's talk about sustainability. Do you know what the word means? I know it's 4 syllables, 5 syllables. How many syllables? I should have counted them out before. 6. Sustainability. 7?
Yeah.
We're all wrong.
So the reality is that, look, and it's crazy, because I do invoke the words of my friend Russ Brooks when we talk about when we were buying this Quint fire truck for downtown Utica, the one with the 105-foot aerial platform on it. It's a Quint, it's called. And I said, man, at the time it was like $1.2 million. I said, $1.2 million? Holy cow. He goes, you think that's expensive? Wait till you start paying for the people who work on it.
That's exactly right.
Bricks and mortar is cheap. It's the people who are working for you afterward that are maintaining these things that you have to have, and you can't find right now either.
You can't find them anywhere.
That's the problem.
Mayor Galimi took up all your time. We're going to get you back.
No, it's like the privileges.
It is.
He has those privileges.
I do want to talk more about St. E's. And are we 10 seconds? Are we getting somewhere?
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish.
It's going to be a problem.
We need to get somewhere.
And you're right. We're going to be, Utica's going to be left dealing with this.
Yep.
We'll do it again real soon. Let's rebook right away.
Always fun.
By Tim Julian, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Gotta go.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, a Town Square media station.
Day 2 of the Hunter Biden trial. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. A jury is seated, and it's the first day of testimony after attorneys' opening statements.
Special counsel David Weiss, he's going to go first here, the prosecution's team. Then it's Hunter Biden's lawyers, likely lead defense attorney Abby Lowell. 45 minutes aside is what we're thinking they'll get. Hunter faces 3 felonies in connection with a 2018 gun purchase. Prosecutors accused him of lying on a federal firearm form that asked if he was a drug user, and they say he illegally possessed the gun for about a week and a half. The court arrived at a jury, 6 men, 6 women. The 4 alternatives are women. Judge Mary Ellen Noreika, a Trump appointee, instructed them to avoid discussing or reading about the case.
Fox's Rich Edson in Wilmington, Delaware. Hunter Biden's father, the president, is expected to announce an executive order on immigration today, including new limits on the number of migrants allowed to claim asylum at the southern border. He and the First Lady host an annual picnic at the White House this evening for members of Congress and their families, and then the president flies overnight to France for ceremonies marking 80 years since the World War II Allied D-Day invasion in Normandy. It's a sensitive anniversary in China.
It's 35 years since at least hundreds, possibly thousands, were killed in Beijing's Tiananmen Square. Months of protests against China's communist government were crushed by tens of thousands of soldiers and armed police. The anniversary will be officially ignored in China, where the topic's heavily censored. But police are out in force near the square in case of any demonstrations. In the Chinese-speaking world, only in breakaway Taiwan can the events of June 4th, 1989 be openly remembered. Events are expected elsewhere, including here in London. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
A 3-year-old boy is dead. His mother hospitalized, stabbed by a woman in a supermarket parking lot in North Olmsted, Ohio. She's been arrested. Police say the attack appears to have been random. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
All right, who's there for heroes or their